So yeah, this is episode 3 of the League of Ordinary Jabronis podcast. 3? Yeah.
Oh man.
No, it's number.
No, it's 4.
This is
Week
episode 4.
Episode
week
4,
three.
episode 4, week 3.
Yeah.
There we go. Got it right.
We're here for it.
We'll get there.
Yeah, we'll get there eventually.
Took a sec.
So yeah, let's start looking at some of the matchups here. Do you guys? I say we roll it back. So we'll do it bottom to top as opposed to top to bottom like we did last week. Just
Sure.
to change it up. So we'll start, Trevor, with your matchup against John. Let's get the heavy hitter out of the way first.
Yeah, woof.
What a back and forth battle.
This one was so funny to watch, and I called it too. I said last time that this was gonna be a nail biter for both of you guys, and you were like, "Nah, it'll be fine. I'm just gonna shit on John."
Well, here's the deal. No one expects Joshua Kelly for the second week in a row to get 2 points. That's ridiculous. I don't care who you are. If you're a backup and you're not doing jack shit for one of the best running backs in the league, how are you supposed to call yourself like a team after that? Because if you have nobody, like you're only as good as the man behind you. And so, like, I just don't understand because he hasn't had this problem in the past. In the past, when Eckler has gone down, he's done just fine. And now he just, I don't know. There's zero production out of
I
him
think he's just
whatsoever.
had 2 bad weeks in a row because he was good week 1, and you're right. He's flashed as a good backup guy when Eckler has gone down in the past. He's come in and been productive, but he's just unrosterable right now, and they don't really have anyone behind him that they want to use. Apparently, they had the Elijah Dotson kid who got had a huge game in preseason, and Isaiah Spiller. That's their running back room. Aside
In this
from
game,
Josh
I think
Kelly.
I think Josh Kelly is a victim of like a new OC, like Kellen Moore, whoever the Dallas OC was. It's like, I mean, Josh Kelly like produced, when like last year when Eckler went down, but
I mean,
carries.
Keenan Allen went off for 200 yards.
I mean, it's not the OC's fault that on a goal line situation, Josh Kelly just like puts his head down and then just runs right into his center's ass.
Blocker,
Yeah, right into the guy getting beasted by the defensive line.
Got 1 yard of carry. That's terrible.
It was pretty bad.
That is terrible,
A shockingly bad performance. In fact, I think he was one of the worst running backs.
Yeah.
I mean, there's a whole basically running backs this week were entirely feast or famine.
I would have
There
been
were
better
a
off
ton
running
of
Kareem
busts.
Hunt. And Kareem Hunt just picked up the ball for the first time this season because he's been sitting on his couch eating popcorn. Like, that's just sad. Like, dude's just warming up.
You got some decisions to make there, obviously, your running back spot.
Hopefully Kamara's off suspension, so
that's
you're good.
Eckler will be back after the bye. They have an early bye this year, so I think that he's not going to play this week. But then after the next week, he'll be back, and then you'll be able to use him then. But it's been brutal to start the season for sure. The only other players that really didn't show out for you were Kevin Byard and Richie Grant. Is just your DBs just kind of didn't do anything for you.
I can't figure out the DB room situation because none of my DBs, even from my bench, like I pulled Tyrann Mathieu because he has done nothing for 3 weeks or for 2 weeks, and all of a sudden he decides, I'm going to get an 8-point game.
That sounds like defenses. That sounds like DBs, honestly.
Yeah.
I've never understood DBs. I never will. I'll always understand linebackers and D tackles because I play those positions, but DBs,
with the safeties and corners, you really want the guys that play man, like a lot of man, and play a lot of snaps. Like if they're not getting a lot of snaps, they're going to be really boom bust.
There's just not very many defenses that play man coverage anymore.
It's true. There is a lot of zone, but it's the guys that
and
when they
hybrid schemes too.
when they do fill in the zone coverage and get on their man, they get on top of them and knock the ball away. Like you want guys that are ball hawks and are always going for the ball rather than just like trying to cover up a play by just tackling the guy to the ground after he gets the ball. It's
high volume tacklers are still going to have a better floor, though.
I think that's really the basis.
Some of the ball hawks,
for sure, is getting players that just are going to give you a good floor, and then hoping that they also get the upside of defending passes or getting an interception or recovering a ball on a weird strip.
But even
situation.
then, like,
I mean,
those guys are going to be super boomer bust too, because like the two examples I can think of are like Kyle Hamilton and Brian Branch, both of which have had like nothing games, and then just like these will win you your league type of games.
Also, since when does Zach Moss drop 20-point games back to back? Ever.
When he starts and gets
back to back.
Yeah.
No, go look at 2020. Go look at 2021. Go look at 2022. Never has he had a back-to-back 20-point game.
He's been stuck behind a lot of players on the depth chart of the teams that he's been on. Like he came from Buffalo, I believe.
So you guys saying starting means you haven't even looked. Because he's not that good.
He was behind Devin Singletary at Buffalo, and I agree he's not really anything special. I think he's just a guy personally, but Josh Allen pretty much stole all of his running touches from him when he was at Buffalo, and then when he did get opportunities, he was usually just a change of pace guy for Devin Singletary, who they liked better on that team. They trade him to Indianapolis, and then Jonathan Taylor does his thing where he wants to get paid, but he's injured, and they don't want to give him money, so he's not playing. So he's suddenly in a position where they are willing to give him all the workload.
Look at it.
He's also
22.
Someone got hurt too, so he's like literally the only option.
Like, this year. Right. Broken arm kid.
Yeah, like Indy is just like being stubborn about Jonathan Taylor. Like that's yeah. And also, I mean the whole Anthony Richardson
volume too,
thing.
Like 30 carries. Like holy shit.
That's a lot.
Yards.
That's where most of the points. I mean, 102. He did well.
Also,
4 yards a carry, but like
another thing.
And a TD. Like he balled the fuck out. But I wouldn't expect Zach Moss in the past to ever do something like that in back-to-back weeks.
This is one of those.
Fair, yeah.
This is one of those situations where opportunity beats out talent. This is one of those cases where he just was in a game, and this game in particular was coming on the tail end of a really bad storm, and the weather was awful. So it was just one of those sloppy games, and you can tell by the score. It was a defensive, well coached on both sides of the ball kind of game, and it just ended
was Baltimore in that path of the tropical storm? That's the one you're talking about?
Yeah. That game looked gross. The weather was really bad. The field condition was probably a sloppy mess. So I'm really not surprised that was a run heavy game.
Yeah, I mean, playing in a dome is a thing. It's like what, 5 points? Like average, like people get 5 points more in a dome, like on average.
Yeah, why doesn't Buffalo have a goddamn dome? Like it's like and Cleveland. Like every year there's a Cleveland game where it's like, this is the product. Like what?
I mean,
Minneapolis like has a dome, like for good fucking reason. Like
yeah.
I'm going to be the stickler here, and football is meant to be played in the elements.
No, I agree with you. It's just that
I think a dome stadium is great for fantasy if it's going to average you 5 more points, but like, you're
not wrong. You're just a purist.
I need you to calm down. I want them to play in grass, but I don't think it's necessary for them to be playing in lightning and
tundra or swamp conditions. Trevor, you don't like that?
Yeah, we don't need the monsoon from last year.
I think the Bears were playing in. All that does is spell for more injuries, and I don't think we need any more of that. If you've ever played in the elements, you would understand that it's just as bad as playing on AstroTurf. Because at that point,
Yeah,
and if you're playing
right.
on AstroTurf and it's wet, holy shit.
Yeah, right. Extra slick.
It's not something I think that professional athletes should have to deal with. I think we should all be in domes on grass.
I mean, the NFL should at minimum be on grass. I mean, like, they're changing all the stadiums over for
crazy.
FIFA anyway. It's not like they can't do it.
As a football lover, do I love to see snow games happen? Of course. Do I think it's great for competition? No, I don't. I think it's terrible for true competition because it's just about the team that spent the most time in the snow and has the right cleats. Like,
Pretty much.
Although there was
Who
the
has the
playoff
best?
game,
Who has the better running back group?
there was that playoff game last year in Buffalo where they just got wrecked in the playoffs. So, shit can happen. I think that was the Cincy Buffalo game. They got rinsed in the playoffs by Cincinnati. But Ohio, they're no strangers.
Exactly. Yeah, the elements is exactly. It favors a region of the country.
I mean, the same can be said for early games in Miami. Like,
true.
This happens every year. Is like somebody from like a northern team goes to Miami and like just plays like absolute dog shit because of the heat.
Also, can we talk about how
we'll get to that kind of game? The
Chris
Denver
Godwin is just like, I guess, getting old, even though the person standing next to him is 4 years older. Like, I don't understand what's going on with him either. He's just not connecting with Baker at all.
Yeah, I think it's more that than anything else.
Philadelphia's defense is also still really good. So
yeah,
it's 3 weeks in a row now that Mike Evans is not. It's not even just about ball share. It's about the fact that
Evans is getting twice as many targets.
Yeah, I just don't understand. Like, it used to be 1 week it was Evans, 1 week it was Godwin, 1 week it was Evans, and you could kind of like play him in and out of the weeks because you could figure out which ones they're gonna do, and it's just all Mike Evans now.
Well, part of it also is that I think
Baker.
Mike Evans has always been the one in that offense, and they had crab legs. And then they had Tom Brady.
Yeah, the drop off from Tom
now they
Brady.
have Baker.
And I think Baker's like, this happens with backups all the time. Like, they come into a game where they like start a game like, and they just feed the number one option, and that's all they do. And Baker's kind of doing that.
Chris Godwin's been WR1 for them for like 3 years now.
I disagree. I think Mike Evans has had the one role.
Literally on their depth chart, man.
I mean, depth chart and then how the target share and everything actually plays out is you can't.
Godwin's also been hurt for like a few years now. Like
Godwin, yeah, he's been hit by the injury bug, unfortunately. I don't think that injury is the reason why he's not performing this year. I think he's just.
Yeah, it's definitely. I definitely think it's Baker. Like, Chris Godwin had some real good games last year.
They've also had a lot of turnover in the coaching department, like going from Bruce Arians to this, and then getting a new quarterback and having a questionable offensive line, which is getting better, but Tampa Bay is a weird team. I think they've always been a weird team.
Tampa's got a bad situation right now. I mean,
they're making the best of it. I mean, Baker looks
are
decent. He's not good. I
think Baker's finally in an offense he can play in.
He's got the biggest chip on his shoulder, man. This is his third team.
I heard something that he had
it's because of the way he got treated in Ohio. Like, all the fans loved him, but the coaching staff hated him
for some reason. Like, he was a dog. Like, all the players were talking about how he's the man down there, and it was like, cool. They got their guy finally. He was the first overall pick.
And then they went and got Deshaun Watson.
They went and got Deshaun Watson.
Baker's also had like 6 or 8 head coaches. Like, and I think they said 8 on the broadcast, but I don't know.
That's too damn high.
That's so many head coaches in a career. Like,
I mean, it's so many different offenses that he has to try and swirl around in his head.
Yeah.
So let's talk about some of the other studs in this matchup here. So we had on John's side, we had Jalen Hurts, who was really good again.
Are you
Travis
sure about that?
Travis
That
Etienne.
two picks.
He produced. He got a touchdown.
That's so good. So good.
I mean, for fantasy, it was amazing. He got a ton of first downs. He was moving the ball. He was very effective.
I don't know.
Despite the 2 interceptions. I mean, real life football is completely different from fantasy.
Picked first round, got outscored by someone I picked in the 7th round.
I mean, if you want to, like
on
the other side, I mean,
Kirko chip on your shoulder.
Kirk Cousins literally threw a game-losing interception in the end zone. So, you know.
Well, they also got delayed by lightning. And then they just called the game off early. They called the game off early. They didn't get to finish.
In Minnesota?
They called the game off early. They didn't get to finish.
What was it in SoFi?
It was delayed. I don't know where it was. I just saw that the game got delayed, and then the stream changed when I was watching, and then it never came back on.
I don't remember that.
So it was like one of those games that never even got finished.
No, the Minnesota game definitely ended.
Yeah. I mean, they just probably delayed it. I mean, both of those stadiums have roofs.
Yeah, and
SoFi has a roof. Yeah.
So it'd be weird for a lightning delay to.
I did hear that the Kansas City game they cut away from, like that one they stopped broadcasting. That was
why they can just like show B-roll of Taylor Swift and get better ratings.
Yeah, seriously.
Yeah, for real.
DK Metcalf had a good game, man. I was really impressed by his play the last couple weeks. He doesn't seem to be having the same issues that he was having last season, where he kind of had this stretch where he was just like, I don't know if he was in his head or if he was hurt, but he's balling out so far this year.
I think it was last year he was in his head trying to do the whole leadership thing that didn't really work.
Yeah, he just needs to accept that he's just going to be
he's a face. Like, he's easily the face of our franchise. It's like, fine. But, you know.
And then we had Logan Wilson and TJ Watt showed out for you.
Logan Wilson
at the very end there. He got
third quarter.
Yeah. The intercepting Matt Stafford twice pretty much was the difference in this matchup, I would say, because Trey Hendrickson on John's side was doing his best to beat you, but he couldn't beat what your defense was doing. I mean, ultimately, what I took away from this matchup was like the defense was the difference here.
Trey Hendrickson's best effort created
my defense had to make up for
interceptions.
my piss poor performance for my RBs.
Yep.
Hey man, I'm in that same boat. Like,
you gotta.
I think. I mean, that's kind of
Yeah.
it. Like, everybody has holes on offense.
I mean, with a roster this big,
after
there's
injuries.
always going to be holes.
Yeah, and
My holes are at running back.
I don't know. I
defense.
literally haven't played against anyone who hasn't scored under 190 points. So
it's gonna be like that. You're gonna get run over.
Every week, I haven't been run over. You beat me by like 8 points.
I ran over.
No, you didn't. You beat me by like 8 points. Now, getting run over is 265 to 149. That's getting run over.
Yeah.
That's
Should
a
we
bad
move on
one.
to that? Talk about the craziness that happened.
I want to save Danny's game for a little bit later. So we're gonna move up to your game here, Joe.
I'm gonna mute and because I got some food to scarf.
All right, scarf your food
I'll be here.
So,
All right,
Joe, this was, I wouldn't say clinic, but you made some good decisions here. We got Justin Herbert, Amari Cooper, who I really want to talk about, AJ Brown,
balling, man.
Roquan Smith, who got overshadowed by Kyle Hamilton in his insane game.
Dude, that Kyle Hamilton, like, when they took him 16th last year, it was like every draft analyst was like, "Oh, that's the steal of the draft," and yes, that game was totally why. Like, yeah, dude, that kid can ball.
Yeah, I mean, that again was a byproduct of that ugly game. Like the bad weather. Pretty much when I'm playing redraft and I have to pick the DST and I'm looking at good defense versus questionable or bad offense in bad weather, you smash that every time. And this happened here because it was just like the weather was bad. They kind of Indy kept the game on the ground more often than not, and there was just so many mistakes, and there was a lot of huge defensive plays in that game. But yeah, Roquan Smith showed out for you for sure.
Yeah, really complete game. Like QB hit, pass defense, tackles, half sack. Yeah, complete game.
Justin Herbert though is just balling out of control. He's slinging it like crazy,
Dude,
which is what we want, you know.
Yeah, they like.
I don't know if
the Chargers
do that anymore.
I mean, the Chargers are like in, like who knows if they're going to be how long they're going to be in the woods. But
well, they got depth at wide receiver, even though they lost Mike Williams to his ACL.
Yeah, Quentin Johnson.
I mean, that's why you draft that kid, right?
Yeah, they have their first round pick that's going to step in and be able to take some work, and then I forget the other guy's name. Josh Palmer lines up inside all the time, so he's catching passes over the middle. They can't really replace what Mike Williams was, and it's going to be really interesting to see how that affects Keenan Allen because he's just such a big body on the line. Like he's usually running those outside routes where he's just mauling safeties and DBs and cornerbacks. So it's like,
and the thing is like.
What's going to happen?
Quentin Johnson has that same type of profile. It's just he's a rookie and like cannot be expected to fill in the role of Mike Williams. Like it's just not reasonable.
The problem is that rather than them splitting the defense between Mike Williams and Keenan Allen, it's just going to be Keenan Allen that they're focusing on now every week.
Yeah,
it's going to be Josh Palmer like dinking and dunking as the safety blanket.
Well, they need Austin Eckler back yesterday, so. Yeah. Once he gets back, he will fix a lot of the problems, but I can definitely see the Chargers regressing next week. But hopefully, with Austin coming back.
Yeah, it might be an opportunity for anybody who's like got Gerald Everett or the other tight end, because like Gerald Everett is like the between the 20s tight end, and then like they bring in the other guy for like red zone work. So like Gerald Everett's kind of like very. Like is like unplayable in fantasy, but like the other guy like might get you a touchdown.
So I don't know if you saw this, Joe.
Oh yeah, no, he got called out. Right?
That's not even close.
Yeah, that's the one he got called out on. Yeah, that's so much bullshit. I mean, that's like the like Geno Smith getting called for like the intentional grounding, or
right here.
Got called out there.
They blew. This guy is a foot away from this motherfucker, and he blew that
called
dead.
It dead, right? Yeah.
What the fuck?
Yeah, no, that's real. That happened.
You got to get your eyes checked after that. Come on, man.
So this clip unfortunately didn't show the rest of it, but he pulls up. So he's going full speed there when he comes to the side, and then it gets blown dead, right? And he starts running up the sideline, and then slows down and turns around and shrugs, and then the safety who's right nearby off screen here does the same thing, and it's the most frustrating play I think of the entire weekend, because that could have been another 40-yard touchdown bomb for Amari Cooper. He could have had an incredible game this week if that ref, who's blind, didn't blow that play dead.
There were a lot of questionable plays this week. Like this one, the defensive pass interference that they called on Witherspoon, like some of it was just like I'm not like I don't know the rules, but none of this seems like in the spirit of the rules.
The DPI call where Witherspoon ran like
the hand fighting one, yeah,
was that
was pretty ticky tack.
Oh no, that wasn't this. But yeah, no, I agree. But it's also within the rules. Like he was initiating contact more than 5 yards past the line of scrimmage. Like that's illegal contact. So I understand that one, but it was still frustrating to see, because I'm a proponent of let them play. Like,
yeah,
playoff football is the best because the
They let 'em
refs
play.
swallow their whistles and they just let the
I
plays
mean, that's
happen.
why playoff sports are better than
Generally,
Well, I mean,
being a victim of the Steelers Super Bowl,
yeah.
that we
Fuck
don't
Ricky
talk
Burger.
about,
yeah.
is what it is. But yeah, for the most part,
The thing is too is like if it's illegal contact, call it illegal contact, not DPI.
yeah,
You know, that's a really different penalty in terms of what that means for an offense and a defense moving through the course of the game. And in that kind of high tense moment, like if it's illegal contact, call illegal contact. Like I feel like we need to be clearer about that in the officiating.
yeah. So
Yeah.
Duds on your side, Calvin Ridley had a nightmare of a game.
That's 2 weeks in a row
Could
that he
not
has
catch.
dropped passes,
Mm-hmm.
and it's not great.
It's really frustrating because watching that game, Trevor Lawrence was actually playing really well. His offense did him zero favors. Yet again, another week where it's not his fault, but it shows up in his stats that he played
It's his
poorly,
fault, yeah.
and that's shouldn't be the narrative because he actually looked fine. It's just something is wrong.
There is something going on with the receiver room where like they're not concentrating.
Clicking. They're not clicking.
Like something's just off. I don't know. Like it's something that's totally fixable. It's not like, they're playing through injuries and they're just going to be bad because of like injuries. But like also you have no idea if it's actually going to be fixed because who the fuck knows?
Right.
Well,
yeah, I might have to.
I think they're going more towards the run game because they don't trust Trevor Lawrence's arm because he's so inconsistent. 1 year or 2 years in a row, he did terrible, and then he finally started to come into form last year, and then now he's just kind of ticky-tacky this year. He's trying hard. I'm not saying he's not trying hard, but
my point is his receivers are doing him no favors because they are not catching the ball.
It hits him in the hand.
It hits them in the hands, and they just drop
They should catch them.
Like the Calvin Ridley highlights this week.
He dropped one in the end zone. It was fucking like maddening.
In his hands, and then just on the ground. It was like, bruh,
like yo.
Did you bet on yourself, Calvin? Is that what's going on? Are you doing that again?
Yeah.
That's weird.
I really need the other one that really screwed me was Tyson Campbell, who there's something going on
too.
There's something going on in Jacksonville. Like this kid from
they all got COVID or something.
Yeah, something. Like from his rookie year to his second year, he went from 10 pass defenses to 15, added in every counting stat something, and including name a stat, and he got better at it. Like if you break it down per game, his the over on half a pass defense, an interception, are all there.
What's his snap share with Montreal?
Well, his snap share this year in this game was 55, but that's not good.
Started at 71 and then decreased to 55. So not great, but not terrible.
His snaps are going down.
If he's making plays, it looks like he's kind of oscillated in years past. And he's a package
70,
player.
He's 70. It might just be
some lows.
I think he just came out for injuries, man. That's usually how that stuff goes. If you've been consistent, usually it's just injuries that get you.
Yeah.
Also, Devin Lloyd had a great game. Got me a pass defense, 5 tackles, 9.5 points. But he's hurt. They're checking his thumb. He's going to be out for a while. Montez Sweat, the first time he screwed me.
Yeah, he did nothing. And he's one of the premier defensive ends in football. He'll be fine in the long run.
Yeah, he'll be fine.
Yeah.
I think next. I'm not playing him next week. He's it's going against a good O-line. I'm gonna steer away from that one. But
I don't know, because Philly's letting people through. If you watched the game last night, Philly was letting Tampa Bay's what was his name? What is that? Their nose tackle's name? He was just walking.
Vita Vea?
Not Vita Vea, the big white dude that's next to him. He's
Oh,
just running right through the center and hitting the quarterback over and over.
Hall?
You could see Jason Kelsey get extremely mad.
Mm.
Let me try and find his name really quick.
Is it Logan Hall?
No.
No.
That's the other side.
Yeah.
Hang on.
Yeah, no, I've got on my practice this week in my taxi squad, I had Devin Witherspoon, who went the fuck off, and Brian Branch, who also went the fuck off.
Brian Branch caught my eye this week. He was a force on that defense,
kid,
man.
I mean,
he was all over the place. It was like every play. It was like, and Brian Branch comes from out of nowhere and tackles him, and he had his mouth guard in his helmet, like back here, the whole time. And the announcers were calling it out, like, there he is again with his mouthpiece. He just doesn't even care. It's like he's just that confident that he's not going to knock a tooth out. I guess it was just. I thought that was hilarious.
Brian Branch, going to be a good player, like.
Oh yeah.
Or what do you mean? He already is. Like he's coming in. He's making impact.
Promotion worthy.
He had 11 solo tackles and 2 pass defenses. Like that's
a great game.
That's a monster game.
I don't think his stats and like even his fantasy points even really indicate or tell the story about how much impact he actually had on that game, because he was all over the place. I think
he took over that game. Yeah.
I think it was a big reason why they won, actually.
I mean, he shut down the running game.
Mm-hmm.
Like, he absolutely shut down Atlanta.
Aiden Hutchinson also did a good job.
Yeah. Well, he went off for like 40-something in this league. So, yeah. Like
Hutch had a game.
Yeah.
So, on Kelsey's side of the ball, Miles Sanders, James Conner, Jamar Chase, Aaron Donald, and George Kittle all balled out. They had a really showed out.
Play Brian Branch this week?
No,
he's in my taxi squad. I just am very happy that I have him because
I'm surprised you haven't pulled him off the taxi squad.
Yeah, no kidding.
I have a total of, including all injuries, 9 DBs. So.
No, I feel it. I've been keeping Puka Nakua on my taxi squad until I see his output with Cooper Kupp coming back, but I might not be able to at this point because of the crap that keeps happening to my lineup.
Yeah,
he got fucking nearly blanked last night too.
The taxi squad decisions are definitely big decisions when you find
they're coming up. They're coming up.
It's tough.
I mean, I got to get past the bye week so I can drop fucking Tiny Hill. Fucking check your bye weeks.
Yeah.
Always check your bye weeks.
You use too many quarterbacks.
Yes, I do. I'll drop Tannehill after week 5.
I don't know why you just dropped him.
Yeah, just drop him. I don't think anyone would pick him up.
Yeah, for real. I mean, there's streamable quarterbacks on the waiver wire.
I'll drop him. I just want to make sure that I have one because Baker also Tampa has a bye week on the 5th, like week 5. If there's a better option, I'll take it. But right now,
there's a better option. His name's Gardner Minshew, dude.
I don't know if Gardner Minshew is going to be playing next week.
I don't know about that. I mean, but
no, AJ. If Andy Dalton keeps playing, he's not a bad swoop for a bye week because Andy Dalton always shows out, even as a backup.
Oh yeah, no, I take Andy Dalton over Ryan Tannehill. This week is particularly bad for Tannehill because Cleveland's defense is real. Like, if Deshaun Watson can just get his shit together, that's a real team.
Well,
but
it's
they're
just
getting
hilarious that the rookie goes down for Carolina, and then they finally decide they want to play football with Andy Dalton.
I think
I just think Andy Dalton is just a better quarterback right now because he's been in the league like a decade.
Yeah, I think Bryce Young has looked really raw, and they don't have a lot of options there. I mean, they have Adam Thielen, who they're basically funneling their entire offense through, and then Miles Sanders is doing a really good job as the lead running back on that team, and that's pretty much all they have.
And DJ Chark missed the first week, so it's not like it's not like they,
and it's not like DJ Chark is it's not like DJ Chark is a world beater either. I mean, really, that offense is Miles Sanders and Adam Thielen. And
Which is,
Bryce Young,
And Hayden Hurst like shows up every now and then in the red zone.
yeah, and Bryce Young is figuring it out. Like
Well,
he's
it's too bad because John Mingo is actually turning out to be a good receiver, but he just got hurt. So it's one of those.
There's something going on at Ole Miss, man, with receivers. Like, I don't know what they're doing down there, but just
Especially
keep an eye out on them.
220-pound receivers. Like what?
Yeah, DK, John Mingo, and AJ Brown, all the same looking giants. Like, yo,
Yeah, no kidding.
They have a type.
yeah.
So Jamar Chase showed
What the
out.
fuck off.
He went crazy in this game. Yesterday, that game was, I think, a lot closer
Everything-
than it should have been,
Everything went right for
But-
Jamar Chase.
and everything went
Yeah.
wrong for T. Higgins. Really,
Exactly.
That's
I
kind
mean,
of
Yeah.
the
Talk
narrative
about
of that
dropsy.
story. That game.
fucking T.
Show that
Higgins-
clip that I sent you, because that's from this game, and this shit is just like, I know the Seahawks had a Kel Witherspoon, but like this is why they originally picked him up. I don't know what happened, but this shit,
It wasn't performing for us.
he never even made
That-
it to the field, man.
This pick is crazy.
Yeah, he wasn't performing. If you're not performing, Pete's not going to put you out there. You have to perform in practice.
He got cut before the season.
Yeah, you have to perform in practice.
I don't even think it was that, man.
When you watch that
Watch
live,
the
though,
what replay on that.
Of
When-
course it is, dude.
when you watch this live, though, it's like he caught that. What do you mean?
No,
He
he just
got
took
that?
it.
He did.
He just
catch
took it.
and then
Yeah.
he got it. Like
All the reports
Just
out of
took
camp
it out from
that
him.
year, all the reports out of camp that year was that Kelly Witherspoon was killing it, and then he got cut. And I'm pretty sure it's because like whatever like the deal was, he didn't hold up his end, which is not about the play, because that's never been his issue. It's always been like other shit. Like even the Steelers, who are famous for getting people to do shit like that, didn't keep him.
Right. Man, that was a really exciting game, and I was really happy that the Rams lost.
Yeah,
Even with-
I was
even
so
with-
worried that fucking dude, like, it was like 100 points, and like
He
Kelsey
failed
had
to-
Jamar Chase,
He failed to impress me.
Devonta Smith, Aaron Donald, and Anton Whitfield Jr. It's like all those dudes could go off for 25 points, and I'm
And
totally fucked.
she had Kittle too. Kittle could have absolutely nuked you here.
Yeah, dude.
Again, they were
And-
playing the Giants. You're lucky he only got 13 and a half.
Yeah. It-
I think where Kelsey fell apart here was Trevor Lawrence being on the yet again shit end of the offensive stick. Devonta Smith basically ceding every target. It was a reverse from the week before where AJ Brown got nothing and Devonta Smith had the huge game. And DeAndre Hopkins is just not on the same page as Tannehill. And
Well, he's also getting
that
older.
defense-
This is like his third team or fourth team.
well, Tennessee is also just shocking. That team is just,
they're so bad.
it's gross. They play gross football. Like even
at that.
Derrick Henry is awful.
3-23 or 27.
well, Derrick
Oof.
Henry's hurt right now.
Is he hurt?
Yeah, Derrick Henry's hurt right now.
What does he have? I didn't see that he was injured.
He hurt himself in
camp,
week
right?
week 2 against the Chargers, and he's just playing on it. He's just playing on an injury.
He does that though.
Yeah,
He played through turf
fucking
toe for
beast.
like 6 weeks, and then they finally were like, "You're no."
I watched
Yeah.
him roll his ankle in the Chargers
In
game,
the Chargers game. Okay.
and they taped him up, and he's just been playing on it, and so it's
He can
you know,
do that though. I mean, he's genetically gifted. I don't know why they don't trade him. I think they should, honestly.
I don't think they get anything for
I
him.
was gonna
He's
say, what
like
are they gonna
29, dude.
What's the running back market right now?
They
Too?
look at CMC last year. They got good value out of him.
That's only because Shanahan was like, well, don't need to pay a quarterback.
I think the Browns would give him a good pick, because their offense.
What do they have
needs
to
it.
give?
I don't know, but they can do it.
they pick-
Do
they
they?
pick-
Can they? I don't think so.
Not
I
a
think they
first.
sold
I
the
mean, I'm not
farm.
talking about first year. Like a running back like that isn't going to get a first.
No, he's gonna get a 5th rounder and
It's not gonna be
I
Maybe
just think
the
Tennessee
Titans
should get
want.
what they can because they're clearly not competing this year. So, and look at their quarterback situation. They have Malik Willis or
Will Levis.
Will. They
And-
no. They have,
yeah,
Mayo coffee, man.
no. They
Will
have
Levis.
Malik Davis or whoever that guy. That kid from last year.
Malik
Yeah.
Willis.
Malik Willis.
Yeah, they have Malik Willis, who is a project quarterback,
Why aren't they just trying out Will Levis?
and Will Levis.
Because Will Levis is not good.
Will Levis is
Yeah.
also Will Levis was also taking snaps, less snaps in preseason with the first teams.
I didn't see his preseason.
Than
I
Malik
didn't see him in
Willis.
preseason.
So
He wasn't better than Malik Willis.
like
That's
he
what
literally
happened.
lost
Yeah.
the quarterback, like the backup.
Yeah, it was an
job.
open competition, and he like clearly lost it by like
It's
week 1.
gnarly, yeah. And then
Like,
Will
yeah.
Levis, his girlfriend broke up with him or whatever. Like that dude's just down bad right now.
Yeah.
Ugh. But yeah. So in the end, Kelsey got waxed by the Blubberbuds. Better
you
no-
also-
better
you-
luck next week.
You also made the mistake of playing the old fucking Bobby Wagner because everybody thinks he's in his prime still for some reason at 33.
Yeah, Bobby Wagner had another nightmare game. He was
He
getting
wasn't doing anything at all. I was getting so mad.
he was getting torched by Adam Thielen, man. It was like
What's he doing in coverage?
he's just kind of there. I think he's spying the quarterback and like trying to stuff runs. That's really all he's doing. It seems.
He was good down there last year, and that's what he needs to do for us.
He couldn't even stop DJ Chark.
I feel like he's just trying to do too much.
Well, the
It's like
Seahawks
he's
are
trying to
asking him do
he's
too
trying to
much.
he's trying to regain that leadership role, but he left for a bag because of Russell Wilson, and so now no one wants to fucking listen to him. So it's like one of those things where like
defense is. Yeah.
our defense is in shambles right now.
Yeah, we need Jamal Adams back. We can see what he's got. Finally,
Well, we need to be playing not third string
need-
He's got
fucking
another
quarters.
injury coming for you.
we
That's
need,
what he's got.
I'm sure. And then we need Tariq Woolen back. Like
We need like
There's
actual
no-
starters.
there's the
Are
guy
you
who
talking about
matters.
Artie Burns, the fucking vet, dude?
No, I'm talking about Michael Jackson, who's our third string starter,
who was getting absolutely torched by
who's
the way.
getting waxed, like just absolutely, just like yeah.
There's
it was like
the
my
DJ
God.
Chark touchdown. I rewatched this game because I was so pissed about our defense. The DJ Chark touchdown, the like 60-yard bomb that made Andy Dalton look like
prime Andy Dalton,
prime Andy
like,
Dalton,
Cincy
not
fucking- oh my
prime
God.
time Andy Dalton, but prime
Like
10
red-
a.m. Andy
The
Dalton.
red 10 a.m. Red
The
Rocket.
Red Rocket.
Bengals are going to the
On-
Super Bowl. Andy
Yup,
Dalton.
that-
Yeah, AFC Championship, fucking Andy Dalton. Red
That
Rocket.
play, Mike Jackson was playing zone and just abandoned his coverage, and then just Chark ran past. Quandre Diggs was standing there, didn't even react, and then Julian Love comes out of the shadow realm and then just like whiffs on a tackle, and then he just runs into the end zone. I was just like, "What are we
This was a
doing?"
10 a.m. game, right?
No, this was a
No, this was a 1 o'clock.
This was a
1
1 o'clock. It was in Seattle, but
okay.
man, I don't
It's
wanna laugh.
it's a combination. I mean, it's a combination of like, lack of talent in the secondary, all these like just absolute communication breakdown, and just having a average to below average set of like linemen who like have never played together, and so everything is bad. Like there's no
That'll do it.
communication, there's no trust, there's no continuity. There's nothing that helps defend defenses come together. It's not great.
Yeah,
So
we
it's
need
definitely going to take some time.
we need Jamal Adams because he's actually a leader. Like that dude brings the heat. Like he might.
Yeah.
I don't care if he's not the sack leader on the season or whatever. I don't care about that.
He's the energy guy.
He's got the energy, man. He's pumped up. Like he's the one who gets people like focused.
Hype.
Hyped
It would
up.
be like Devin Witherspoon does the same thing. It's just he's a rookie
He's a
and
rookie.
can't
He's a
do it
rookie,
because he's a
dude.
rookie. Yeah, exactly. He's a rookie.
But
Can't do it.
Devin
Like, I
Witherspoon
love
is
the attitude. I love the attitude.
Yeah,
But he can't do it. You're a rookie.
he's
Like,
the bright
no one's
spot.
listening.
He's the bright spot on the Seahawks defense right now, honestly. He's the only bright spot because Draymond Jones got injured. He's done fucking nothing. Julian Love has been meh.
He's pulling more penalties and really helping.
I'm absolutely not sold on Julian Love. I actually think Jaron Reed has been like a bright spot on the line.
Yeah,
he's actually done work.
But the problem
Aaron
is
Reed is good.
Yeah, Jaron Reed's always been good for
He's
Seattle.
good. He's
why he
always
got
been
paid.
good.
That's why I got paid.
He's not bad. Like he was good for Green Bay last year. He was a serviceable tackle. You know, like no problems.
absolutely.
When did he played for Green Bay?
Yeah, he left
Last
and then
year.
came back. Yeah, that
He
was
played for both the Chiefs and Green Bay. Came
He
back.
played for Kansas City for a year, and then he played for us for a year, and now he's back with y'all.
Yeah,
And he was
true.
great.
Nuoso's gotten better. Like in these past 3 games, he's like actually playing better. But like you can't have 2 out of like 5 guys up front, like or 2 out of 7 of the group of like your front line.
It seems like Nuosu has good flashes. Like if he could get it together, he could really turn into a great player.
he was good
I mean-
last year. He was one of our best defensive players.
I mean, the biggest problem holding back like any of the pass rushes, it only comes from one side, and that's Nuosu's. And if you can load up on that side, like the other guys can't get by because they're not
I don't know.
terribly good.
Nwosu
It's
just
like-
got paid. He's on a 3-year contract. I don't expect him to really put in more work until next year or the year after, or maybe
Well,
end
I
of
mean,
season. He's like sitting fat right now, and he's just coasting. Currently.
Chilling.
He's in that coasting portion of his career where he's like, I don't want to get hurt because I want my guaranteed pay, and I just want to be there to put up what
enough.
I can.
Just put
I mean, his
just
guarantees
enough
are only for the
muscle
first 2 years, and like it's not actually the 19 per. It's like 32 for the 2.
Yeah, so he has to stay healthy. So like,
right. So yeah, that's even more incentive to not put the body on the line too hard, going way too hard on a pass rush.
You guys want to talk about the highest scoring team in league
how
history?
about that recovery, dude? Oh my God, Danny! Holy shit! You go from getting reverse Nick Chubbed and he gets taken out to somehow scoring the most points
In league
so
history,
far.
which is also true in our redraft league that we do. He has the title of the highest scoring team ever in that league too. So we'll see how long
Good
this
for
thing
him, man.
lasts.
Right on.
I'm seeing lots of crazy scores in this league already.
Well,
So
we have
we'll
to
see.
hand it to Denver just being awful as well. Because I
Facts.
mean,
Yeah, dude, they let go of the rope.
Shit.
Like, oh man, that was
70 points.
dude. Sean
They
Payton, like,
It's
I don't know.
embarrassing.
Why does
Like,
everyone want
yes.
to blame Sean Payton?
Well, it's like I don't know what's going on in that building, but like he has not been able to do whatever it is he's been paid to do. Like, you don't give up 70 points and say you're doing your job
That's
right.
exactly it. It's because Sean Payton was hot and fucking blustery coming into this, being like, we're turning this ship around. We're going to be great. We're going to be good from the onset. We're establishing a culture of winning. And the Denver Broncos have been the Denver Broncos.
They're 0 and
So,
3.
I think
Like-
that's, I mean, it's about, that game was about as scathing of an indictment as you can make of a coaching staff and a player base and just like the whole organization combined.
And
You
it's
don't
not
get-
like they don't have talent. Like, they have the best corner in the league in Pat Surtain. Like,
Yeah, they got great
Well,
they've
players.
got guys.
Let's also not completely blow past the intangible parts of this game, which was they were coming from Denver to sea level,
Yeah.
Yeah, so they should
And
perform
that's
great.
usually an
and
advantage.
That's an advantage.
it was 105 degrees on the field, and they had no proper ventilation or cooling on
They brought
the Denver side.
their own AC benches.
That didn't do anything.
I
Yeah,
mean,
They didn't,
you need
they didn't
those
have
water
umbrellas.
fans
They were
game.
commenting it during. They were commenting.
Yeah, no,
on it
they need to
during
bring the water
broadcast.
umbrellas, man. That's the only way that shit
They
works.
didn't have any
Yeah.
shade. Like, yeah,
They're
they had the
the water
benches.
fans.
They had the benches that were cold, but like the sun was just beating down directly
down
on
on
them.
them.
And
This
then,
happens every
and then they
year,
go
dude.
over to the bench on Miami side, and it's like they're all
It's in the
chilling.
shade.
It's in the shade. They got
It's still 100
this
in the
huge
shade.
like
We're, like,
fan that's blowing
95
ice
in
on
the
them.
shade. Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah, exactly.
I want to say
They got
this
the
happened to
small cooler.
Buffalo last year too. Like, or
Yep.
one of the
Oh,
one of their
famously, it happens in
like,
New England every year. Like it was always whenever Tom Brady would come
Tom
down to
Brady
Miami,
come
he would
down,
just get
fucking
destroyed.
walloped.
So
Yep.
yeah, and for the
Never
exact
play
same
Tom
reason. They just
I'm not-
put him on that side, let him bake.
I'm not saying that
Amazing.
is the reason, but I think it was a contributing
it's-
factor because you
It's
could see
absolutely a contributing
21
factor.
missed tackles by the Denver defense in this game. 726 offensive yards by Miami.
10 touchdowns.
10
10
touchdowns.
One of which was a Mike
there
White
was-
to have chosen Anderson touchdown. Like
That's
let's not underplay that one of those like touchdowns was from Mike White.
Mike White.
chosen Anderson.
My man,
Like,
Mike
Dolphins
White.
legend Mike White.
like no one got points off that, but it happened.
Nope.
So
Yo,
you mean to tell me that the elements make for less competitive football? Like I was saying earlier? Crazy.
Dude, I
put
wasn't
him
paying
in a
attention. I don't know
dome.
what you're talking
Put
about.
him in a dome. Put him in a dome. And it's like 200
Weird.
degrees. Oh my god. All right, let's talk about some of the players in this matchup here. So obviously, let's get the big one out of the way. Devon
Henry.
Achan is how he wants his
Achan.
name pronounced.
A-chain.
It's
It's
Achan.
A-chain.
Yeah.
He actually came out and said, now that I'm a star right now in this moment.
And
it's
everyone's
Achan."
pronouncing my name
It's like-
wrong. It's Achan.
All right.
Yeah.
Yeah.
A-chain. Cool.
Yeah.
I love it when guys do that.
That dude balled out, and it's like Nick Chubb, who? Which,
Yeah, right.
by the way,
Yeah.
before I don't want to derail the Achan conversation, but Nick Chubb's injury, it came out, it was just an MCL tear, which is amazing to me. I thought that
Yeah.
would have been like everything shredded based on the video, but
6 to 8 months recovery,
6
like
to 8
standard procedures,
yeah,
like
it was just as
unbelievable.
Lucky.
Yeah,
the word.
just unbelievable.
Just an MCL
means
tear.
Which means it wasn't a dislocation.
Yeah.
Because
Yeah, no.
Yeah,
No structural
it can't have
damage.
been.
Yeah.
Can't have
which,
been.
which is
It's
like
just-
remarkable,
It's just the chub wobble.
which means he could come back.
Next year.
Yeah.
We'll see.
Next
Yeah.
year, yeah.
So-
he could come back to full strength next
Don't
year.
you
He
drop
totally
him,
could.
Danny. Don't you drop him. I would field some trade offers before you even consider that, but definitely don't drop him. That would be such a tragic mistake.
Yeah.
Anyway, Achan.
Well, not for those of us ready to blow our fab loads on an IR slot.
Yeah, true. But
Why are you
Achan,
giving it? Danny, do not accept fab for fucking Nick Chubb. Don't do
No,
that,
I'm
dude.
saying-
Please
I'm
don't.
saying-
run
if
your
you drop
team the way you want, Danny.
If he
Don't.
drops him, drop him.
So
Don't listen.
Injuries are
Achan-
bad.
Achan and Raheem Mostert are
Dude.
the like really. Raheem Mostert is the 1A in this offense. Mike McDaniel has
Mhm.
made that clear that that's his guy. They were really excited about Achan when they drafted him, and
It's a
you
perfect
can-
system for him.
They
is.
drafted him for this system. He's going to
Yeah.
be a really effective piece, but I think people need to temper their expectations because he just had the best game of his career.
Yeah, this is never happening.
Yeah.
That's his
10
peak.
touchdowns,
That's a-
700 yards.
That's a
like,
great ceiling. That is the Alvin Kamara 5 touchdown, the absolute obliteration game that he had in playoffs, the fantasy
Yeah.
playoffs
No kidding.
years
Yeah.
ago. Like that ceiling is the ceiling that you want.
I mean,
all
that's
your
like the Mike.
players to
That was
be
like the
at.
Mike Evans
That
game last
alone-
year.
He's
Yeah.
like
For
third of
200 yards
fantasy
for a
teams
touchdown.
out
For
there.
a 30-year-old man to put up 42 points in fantasy, my hat's off to him.
The thing about
He's
Mostert,
31.
Yeah, holy shit. Yeah,
Raheem Mostert's 31.
Mostert has
Yeah,
also
30-year-old man.
31-year-old running back.
he doesn't
Yeah.
have a lot of tread on the tires though because he didn't really start getting used until he was like 26 years old in the NFL. He hadn't really seen a high
always been a
amount of
backup.
work. Yeah, he's always been the
Right.
backup guy.
Yeah.
And then
Yeah, he was.
he
He
was
was
put
also
in-
not Kyle Shanahan's like favorite dude. Like for some reason, Kyle Shanahan
Saved
didn't
him.
like him.
Well, that wasn't after he actually played him and saw what he could do. He quickly became, he was a fixture on that offense
Yeah,
for a
And he was
minute,
just
and then he got
it was
hurt.
the injuries. Injuries.
yeah.
Which
the
I wanted to
Shanahan
talk about
system
Ju-
knee stealing curse.
Jeff Wilson Jr., who Mike also brought over to this team, is also going to be a factor. Although I don't think that this is going to be a three-headed monster, none of these guys are relevant sort of situation, because Mike McDaniel is ahead of his time with the way that he runs his offense. Like the motion is the pinnacle of NFL offense right now. Those schemes that he's running are so far, he's blazing the trail here for how offenses are going to be run in the future. He's running like a 2028 NFL offense right now. And people are going to start copying
Shanahan
this.
disciple to actually like advance that system.
Yeah.
In a really meaningful way. And
the thing is too is like
that in real time.
I mean, the other thing too is like Vic Fangio is the DC, so he's playing against all of the defenses that he will be playing against, and like it's going to take somebody who's absolutely not connected to the Fangio tree, or one of the like actual like brilliant guys from that tree to figure out how to stop it, and it's like then that will take over. Whatever can stop this offense will become the next defense that takes over the league.
Yeah, all right. Well, we're getting away from the matchup here. We gotta talk about this matchup because it's just so sad to see someone lose by 120 points.
It's just devastating.
So I think
I mean, Myles Garrett, like
even with
Kyle Hamilton,
even with the Derrick Henry 2 points, even with the Michael Thomas 8.5 points, the Brandon Cooks like basically donut.
Nothing, 3.5.
How many did he get? Like 3.5.
3.7.
That's a donut in my book, man.
Might as well
for
be
Brandon Cooks.
Danny absolutely blew the doors off of Josh, and
the defense here is.
I mean, it's Kyle
insane.
Hamilton, Frank. What is his name? Zach Franklin.
Dude, Jordan Whitehead is putting work.
Yeah.
Zaire Franklin. My bad.
He's becoming the most consistent DB week to week to week.
Whitehead?
Whitehead.
Yeah.
You can count on 10 plus from him every week at this point.
He's playing lights out. I mean, he has to. That
Jenkins is another one of those guys who's like really just lights out consistently.
The Jets need it though.
I mean, he's proving the theory of the case with like, who are you going to throw at? Because like, it's Sauce and DJ Reed, both of which are very good corners, and then like, you've got to throw at somebody, and I guess people are throwing at him because or running it at him, like whatever, like just they're not going outside, I guess.
The two guys that I wanted to highlight on Danny's team, other than his offensive players, were Kyle Hamilton, because he was the beneficiary. He was the beneficiary of that really ugly Ravens Colts weather game that I was talking about earlier. So when I was setting my lineup, I was like, I have Patrick Queen, and I was thinking this is going to be a big Patrick Queen game. And I was also thinking the same for Joe, because Roquan Smith could also have this Kyle Hamilton game, but it ended up being Kyle Hamilton that did it, because he just came in and wrecked Indianapolis. They ended up losing the game, and honestly, that was the result of some really stupid decisions that Harbaugh made, I think. But it was incredible performance by the Ravens defense in this game. Kyle Hamilton was the focal point of it, though, obviously, because 3 sacks, he's batting passes away and tackling everybody who picked up the ball. Like, it was just like he couldn't be stopped.
Absolute monster.
I mean, it's
absolute monster. Then the other one is Myles Garrett got back to form.
So
Myles Garrett doing Myles Garrett stuff.
I honestly think like the score again, it's like they both scored. Like Kyle Hamilton got 40, Myles Garrett dropped 35. That makes sense based on what these guys were doing, because I wanted to show you guys this clip.
Myles Garrett's not going to have a 3.5 sack game all year.
He won't. But
that's
the
big one.
I mean, that's Tennessee, though. That's Tennessee.
This is what Myles Garrett does to offenses. Check this out.
Is dominated from the opening snap.
Send them both again.
Garrett running around and
that's fucking funny.
Is dominated from the opening snap.
So
that's so good.
Totally.
He's pulling 2 offensive players.
Delay of game. That's a half the distance.
Dominated.
That's so sad that they're that disorganized that they're running back
He's-
and forth.
That's the thing.
no,
Is
but,
it,
Tennessee is such
they're,
a
this-
fucking
they're
dumpster
shadowing
fire,
him. That's the
man.
fucking game plan.
that's
Those
no.
two-
This is
yeah, but those two tight ends aren't paying attention to the clock. It doesn't matter what side he's on if
I
the
know.
clock's gonna tick down.
so.
like
Here's the
that.
thing, though.
Right.
He
can keep
This is
moving,
after.
and
This is
they
after
can't.
he gotten 3.5 sacks. He'd been murdering them the whole game, and the OC is like, just stop him. And so he's drawing. He's
Clearly
drawing.
failed.
He literally
Didn't work.
was the cause of a delay of game penalty just because he's that much of a god at football.
He's living rent free inside their head.
Literally, I thought
No
I saw
kidding.
that. I saw that, and I cracked up. I
Wow,
was like,
that's
This is-
amazing.
Miles Garrett is the absolute definition of what you expect out of a 101 pick.
Yeah.
Like
Yes.
this is what you
Yes.
want when you're choosing a guy 101. Is
Our-
like this kind of impact.
I remember when we did our startup draft, and Danny drafted Miles Garrett, and I was like,
I was so mad.
"You're gonna like that guy."
Yeah.
And he just looked at me like, "Huh?" I was like, "You'll see."
You'll see. You're gonna like.
Well, that's
him.
like Casey coming
You're
up to
gonna
you
be a
and being
fan.
like, "So I took Bijan." It's like, who's he? It's like, dude.
I was like,
Like,
dude.
like,
Casey's
Damn it.
sandbagging. He knows. He knows.
that was so
He
funny.
knows.
I mean, yeah.
But
Jerry
let's
Jeudy had a game.
Jerry Jeudy.
Yeah, he didn't do terrible.
He had a Jerry Jeudy game.
He had
He's-
a 12-pointer.
Despite what happened in that
Wow.
actual in the Miami Broncos game, for once, you can't point to Russell Wilson in Denver and be like, "That's the problem."
Hold on.
It's
Hold
very
on.
clearly
Yeah,
Hold
you
on.
can.
There's two
You
issues here.
absolutely can.
Two issues here. Sean Payton left him in the game in that historic blowout. He was still out there at the end of the game. They had Mike White chucking it to Robbie Chosen.
Yeah.
And Russell Wilson was
Chosen
still
Anderson.
trotting onto the field to try and throw a pass. Like, Sean Payton doesn't care. And
Sean
also,
Payton does not
I
like
don't-
Russ, man.
I don't, if you didn't know, Denver got a defensive touchdown in this game. So the offense
It was
is responsible for
even worse.
13 points.
Points.
Because
Even
I was-
worse, it was a special teams.
Yeah, it was a DST. Sorry, it was a DST
Yeah.
touchdown.
It was a kick return, right? A 99-yard
Yeah,
kick
it was
return
Marvin
by
Mims. Yeah, Marvin Mims got that. Yeah.
Who picked that guy up?
Because I was
Or
looking,
actually,
I was
no, wait,
looking at it
Kelsey
in
had him.
redraft. I was like, 70 points. They must be like -8 or something. I look at it and I was like, how? And then I saw that they had a touchdown.
A touchdown, a 99-yard
Oh my God.
touchdown.
Yeah,
The-
great play.
a whole 16 points or something.
You would think that with 306 yards for Russell Wilson, there would be more than one touchdown from him. But he's
You would
just
hope.
not. He's not performing the way he wants to or the way he should be.
That team is
That's-
shocking,
It's
man.
how's your it's failures on both sides of the ball. But I don't know, man. How do you let 70 points get scored against you?
I mean, that's a defensive.
It's a-
That's a defensive thing. Like
It's
Russ
a
threw.
complete collapse of
yeah,
morale
but Russ has to stay
throughout
on the field
entire organization
and not go 3 and out. So you
Yeah,
have
I
to
mean-
blame the offense to an extent
Of
because
course.
if they're going 3 and out
Yeah.
every time and your
The
defense
defense
is on the
stays on
field,
Russ is playing
Bulldog
Russ ball.
time,
He's
yeah.
always going to play Russ ball. That's always there are other comps in other sports of players exactly like Russ.
I mean,
That, they play one way and that's it. He threw for 300 yards, completed 23 to 38 passes, which isn't good, but all the other stuff too that goes along with Russ is still there. Inefficient on third down, holds onto the ball too long. All that stuff's still there. That's never going to change.
Denver has no run game.
Yeah, what?
cannot-
Javonte
they
Williams is
cannot
coming
move the
back
ball
from that
on the
gnarly
ground.
injury.
well,
and
dude,
then-
they got
and-
Samaje Perine, all right?
Yeah, right. And
P. Ryan can only
mean-
P. Ryan on people when they're playing against you in a must-win matchup. Okay, in
Yeah,
fantasy.
he can only P Ryan on you.
he can only P Ryan.
But
on you,
Javonte
yeah.
Williams is coming back from that gnarly ACL injury.
The
It
line
takes a
is
year.
not
It takes a
blocking for
year,
them.
and even after you come back from that type of injury, it's like you can't trust your knee fully until you cut and you're running full
really are
speed.
doing it.
So it's
Yeah.
generally an ACL is like a year and a half injury. It's like you can
He's
come back from
injured
it
on
and
it.
play, but he's not back. You can tell
If
just
he
by
ever
watching
comes
him
back,
play.
if he ever trusted ever again.
Exactly.
Right,
It's
right.
Like one of those.
It's
those
less.
up in the air.
It's a
It's a
mental
mental
thing.
thing.
Yeah.
Yeah. It's always a mental thing with like the next step of rehab because you can only strengthen it so much before you have to take that next step and like put it to work.
Yep.
All right, now
Right.
let's
Let's look at
dissect
Josh.
What happened, to Josh?
Yeah, we need to
Yeah.
get the scalpel out here and
Yeah, we
open
gotta
Josh
dissect.
up and
we
see what
got the
happened.
vivisection
Because
here.
Patty Mahomes did fine.
Yeah,
Tony
it's not a
Pollard
problem.
did fine, even
No
though they
issue.
got destroyed by Arizona, which is hilarious to
That's
me.
great. Yeah, I love that.
Yeah.
That's the
My Michael
funniest.
Wilson stock has never been higher.
Olave is
Chris
somehow
Olave's doing great.
Keep-
balling
keep
out, even
scrolling
with
there,
crab
Vargas.
legs throwing the ball out there. Like
Hey,
Chris
man.
Olave is already shown
Olave's-
to be QB proof.
it's
All-
true.
already shown it.
That's true. That's absolutely true.
And
Carson,
Hufanga. Hufanga.
We have a Hufanga showing.
We had a
Yeah.
Hufanga showing at like the very last play almost of that game.
it
on
was like the
Thursday.
you got a PD.
He came out and bat the ball down.
You got to scroll so that we can look at some of these stats here.
Well, no, they don't have any better DBs though than like George Kittle because clearly he's the best one. Hope everybody saw that clip.
Oh yeah, yeah. DB Kittle is one of the best DBs on the entire 49ers.
Yeah.
God.
Yeah, Hufanga a little bit. Yeah, honestly, this was just what happened here is Juwan Bentley is that's a neat pickup.
I agree.
Ramondre Stevenson suffered from patriotism.
Yeah, that's the thing about Patriots
Yeah.
players in fantasy is I just don't do it.
It's just
Personally,
not gonna go
it's
well.
not for me. But
I mean,
Until
so
Bill
says the guy
Belichick-
who's like got Christian Gonzalez on his team.
okay, a Belichick defensive player is a
That's
different
actually
story.
a really,
Or-
really important.
Or an
point.
Well, not
undersized, or an
Generally
undersized,
pretty good IDP options.
or an undersized running back.
Only an
I
undersized
I think
running
Ramondre
back.
Stevenson's problem is that he's too good.
He is too good. Yeah, they don't know what to do with like a player who's good. They're like,
It's like-
That's not,
you don't
that's not
understand how
true.
this
Look,
works.
look what they did with Edelman for years. They had him.
No,
on
We're
defense,
talking running
offense.
backs. We're talking running backs. Like Rex Burkhead's gone. James Cook or James White,
James White,
who was probably the best
Damian Harris.
running back for New
yeah, Damian
England.
Harris.
Well, but your
Um,
backup is Ezekiel Elliott, the guy who eats too much
You mean
cereal. and sits on
Cowboys
the bench.
legend Ezekiel
Yeah,
Elliott?
Cowboys' 4th overall pick. Like,
Zeke is
Fell
amazing,
off, man. He
but
fell off.
Jerry Jones just grinded him to dust, man.
yeah, Jerry Jones is a evil old Texas oil man.
Which honestly says a lot about
mean-
Zeke as a player because he has so many touches, thousands at this point, like 300 a season for like 6 or 7 seasons is
Yeah.
He could
so much
he
wear
could
and tear.
maybe come back after he had a really light usage get right season.
Yeah, I think
I
he's
could see
still
that being-
he's still
I
got
could see
gas
that
in the
being a
tank.
real big. A
He
big
also
thing
will
for him.
fill a role for a long time because he can do the Mercedes Lewis path and just be a pass blocker.
Be the
and,
best
like,
blocker he can
yeah.
be because he's huge.
That
and he's really good
man.
at it. Really good at it.
That and he's a hard worker. Like he's a serious dude. Like if you watch his interviews, he's no funny business. Like he's perfect for Bill Belichick, and that's probably why they picked him up. Is that he
works hard.
works
Like
hard.
Patriot
Well, no,
way
he's-
stuff, yeah.
He can instill the culture Belichick wants.
I will say, Matt, you have Ezekiel Elliott. They play Dallas next week. Play Ezekiel Elliott.
Oh
Because if
yeah.
you don't think that Belichick is going to use every single bit of Ezekiel Elliott's knowledge against Dallas, you're crazy.
That's a good shout.
That's
for
a
sure.
hugely
Yeah.
good point.
There was actually reporting out that said they're changing up hand signals, so Dallas is going to be sloppy too because of Ezekiel Elliott coming back. They're changing up stuff.
Yeah,
So
that
they
really
have to.
messes
They don't
with
have
it
a
for
choice.
sure.
Yeah.
Yeah.
They already know he brought the whole playbook to Belichick.
Yeah, he's been there forever.
Yeah.
He was
He must
the
have.
focal point of the offense for so long. Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah. He has to have it all down. I mean,
So I think Josh had a lot of duds here. So we know what's wrong with
Kyrie
Ramondre
Williams.
Stevenson. Dawson Knox did
I mean,
Dawson
tight
nothing.
ends. Oops.
He got tight ended. AJ Dillon, Steve. What do you
Yeah,
have
what's
to
up with that, man?
what do you
Yo,
have to say
okay.
about AJ
So,
Dillon? What is
And why is he still got a
I
Green Bay?
actually, I actually have a really, they keep on trying to make AJ Dillon do Aaron Jones stuff.
and this is a game plan and coaching problem. AJ Dillon can still be a bruiser and every down back, but the Packers O-line is set up for outside and zone type runs, not gut runs. We have a pass protecting O-line that isn't suited to AJ Dillon's skills. He needs a scheme that's better than what Green Bay can provide. And it's one of those like really sad misuses. So I suspect that Green Bay is going to see a lot more usage of Emmanuel Wilson while Aaron Jones is out, but it sounds like he's coming back up for the Thursday night game anyway.
I
he'll
think
be back.
Josh fell prey to the projection boss because there's no reason you should be running 4 running backs.
It's possible. I've seen a couple of interesting lineup decisions. Like, projections, guys. they will wreck
Kind
you.
of bullshit.
Kyron Williams is the biggest projection decoy ever this year.
AJ
It's just
Dillon
because
is
of the
up there
volume,
too.
the Rams, right? And like his like absolutely insane route running.
Well,
like,
he
chart.
looked great against us in San Francisco, but we're division rivals. He's going to look good against division rivals because they're a lot more prepared for division rivals. What they're not prepared for is everybody else outside. Cincinnati, like, he's not going to play the same that he did.
And you've got 2 weeks of film. Like you've got more than enough to figure out what's going on.
In
Yeah, you can
flex,
stop
we've got
that run.
Palmer and Christian Kirk. Yeah,
That's why Puka and Nakua got like only had 7 points and not 20, and why there was a Van Jefferson sighting this
Well, that's
week.
why it was a 2-2 Outwell week because
Yeah. Yep.
everybody is so focused on Puka that now they can throw to 2-2. But now they're going to have to figure out all 3 when
It's just a lot of questions with the Rams at this point.
Yeah, the Rams are. When
So-
Cup comes back, it'll be nice.
Well, yeah,
but-
when Cooper Kupp comes back, there's going to be 3 really scary receivers out there.
Yeah.
and a very accurate Matt Stafford to throw to them.
I would be.
Stafford gets a lot of.
He's thrown 2 picks 2 weeks in a row now. All right, he
Both
maybe,
of those
maybe
were on
he's
tip
blowing
balls.
his load early, and he'll be good, mid-season. But
He also had a broken back last year.
he's
Or
50,
something.
both of
he
those-
was
Wasn't that the thing?
Or
was it
shoulder.
his arm?
It was his
Shoulder.
shoulder.
55
Oh, Thielen with the back,
34,
right?
He
Thielen
had
had the back
33
injury.
for 18. So he'll get there, but he's old. He's warming up.
Yeah, he's warming up.
I
take his time.
would be curious to hear what Josh's thought process was with putting his lineup together this week. Like
I'm
the
telling
Kyron
you,
Williams,
it's gonna be the projection boss.
the
dude.
Kyron
Like,
Williams, a decision to play him there in his flex makes sense. I mean, Kyron Williams is getting like 90% of the running back touches for that team, but like he's
Bradley
also
Chubb.
got Christian Kirk and
I understand you don't want to get Kadarius Toney. I don't know why he's still on your team, but that's
yeah.
Dude, Tony is never doing anything. Like, it's not happening. Stop
Not
trying to
gonna
make it
Don't
happen.
make it happen.
I know that Josh agonizes over his lineup every week and probably switched out these players like 50 different times, but like ultimately it doesn't matter because he ran up against Danny's ultra team buzzsaw, which
Yeah,
is
you
projected
couldn't-
to be
yeah.
the worst team in the league.
You
rest of
couldn't have done
season,
anything.
so
Yeah, there's nothing you can
because-
do. Yeah.
Simply because the Denver Broncos suck. Like even if you
Yeah.
because if you take out those 50 points, it's still a
it's
a
still
game. It's a
it's-
game.
Yeah.
Kyle Hamilton did
it's a 60-point
ridiculous
game.
40 points too. Again, another thing that probably shouldn't have happened that happened.
I mean, there was a Pat Fryermuth sighting too. Like that
Danny
guy had
just-
5 yards on the season.
Danny just had all of like the elements aligned, the moon, and it just was like, was it a full moon this weekend? Like tell me
Next
like,
weekend.
I think-
were the werewolves out? Like I'm confused.
Dude, a black cat
Dude,
walked
weeks.
backwards through a ladder. Like, yo.
For real.
it
out of a
empowered
broken mirror.
it empowered
Fixed
the
itself.
daywalkers.
Yeah.
Danny.
Empowered the Daywalkers. Can you rebrand to the Daywalkers, Brandy?
No, the Brandywine
Daywalker.
Bandits are a staple.
Yeah,
so
no, we
maybe in
keep them.
redraft.
Yeah.
No, I like the Whisker City Barf Monsters.
That's
dude.
really good,
That's
too.
that's a good name. I barely edged them out. I don't know how, but I did.
Does that
That's-
leave who does that leave?
It's
Leaves Ben and
Ben and Jordan.
Jordan? Is that the last
That's
one
the
before
next
we have
one,
to
no.
talk just about Scott?
No, we got
Oh,
a
we
gotta
couple
talk
more.
about
You gotta do me.
Steve
Yeah,
and
we
Dale.
got
Oh,
Steve. We got a couple. What's the?
Okay.
We're
Let's
just
hurry.
having,
We gotta
having too
keep
much
going.
fun.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Having
we
too
gotta
much
hurry
fun.
up.
Talking ball. All right, so Ben
Jordan
versus
Love
Jordan.
won this game.
Again, we run into Denver sucks. Mostert popped off with 42 points, which we already talked about.
Yeah,
Devontae Adams finally.
Devontae Adams finally did something. You know,
Jimmy Garoppolo got hurt, and Devontae Adams like did his thing. Who'd have fucking thought? Like,
which is weird because didn't Devontae and Jimmy go to college together?
no, that was
him
David
and
Carr.
Derek.
That was
Yeah,
David
Derek.
Carr.
He went to the Raiders because of Carr.
Because
Yeah,
he
Derek
wanted to play
Carr.
with Carr, and then the
forgot about
Raiders
that.
shipped him. So Devontae's pissed.
Yeah,
right
I think
now.
Devontae's going to go to the Chiefs. I think the Chiefs are going to give him two
say that.
firsts.
The Raiders.
Don't even
The
put that
Raiders.
in-
I 100%
There
believe
is
that.
no
Don't even
way
put that
the
in the
Raiders
universe.
trade them. They're division rivals.
Yeah, there's
There's
no way.
no
They're gonna
Oh,
get
you're
him.
right.
There's
Shit,
no way in
you're right.
fucking hell.
No way, dude.
He goes.
I always
to the-
forget that because I don't care about
No.
the AFC.
Oh,
He's going
do they
to the-
not want to win for the next 5 years? Oh, okay.
He's
Like,
going somewhere in the NFC. Is my bet.
Yeah.
He'll end up on the Niners.
No, don't be saying shit like that, man.
I mean, honestly, that is the first
God.
thing that went. That's what
More
went
than
through my
likely,
head first.
He's gonna
is-
end up. He's gonna end up on the Cowboys, in my opinion.
That would suck,
That
but I will accept
could
it.
happen.
That makes
I
sense.
could
yeah.
see that happening.
Yeah. I mean,
I could
Brandon
see
Cooks was like a reasonable signing over the offseason, but like if you got Devontae Adams, like
I
that's
think
an easy
If you
Cowboys-
got
one.
a
they have the
chance
ca-
to
they
get
have the
Devontae
cap.
Adams,
They have the cap for it, right? Like,
that's the thing. It's like
I have no idea.
positioning
After the
for a Devontae
release
Adams
of
trade. There's only a
Ezekiel.
few teams. Well, you still have Dak to deal with.
yeah, but
And
Dak.
He's pretty minimal. He's taking pay cuts.
Yeah, he'll take a pay cut for a good receiver because he knows he's
He
glass.
He knows
knows
he's
he's
as
glass.
good as
I feel like Dak
He's
is
as good
really
as his best receiver.
Dak's a really
As
humble dude
much
too.
as I talk shit about Dak Prescott, I do believe he is a team player.
Yeah.
I don't think he's a Russell Wilson. You know what I mean?
Mhm.
Yeah, I
Right.
agree with that.
Dak's
Nope.
Dak's only problem is that he's not literally Tom Brady. He's not literally Patrick
He
Mahomes.
wants to
He's
be Tom
just
Brady.
Yeah.
well. That's the
He's-
thing is that that's
the
not really his
Cowboys
vibe.
want
His
him to
vibe is just
be-
like I love the Cowboys. I love my team. I just want to win. I want to be as
I'm
good as
trying
I
to
can
the
be.
best I can be
He's
for-
the
I'm
best
trying to be
bus
the
driver
best
in the
Dak
league.
I can be.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And that's cool. Like I've always liked Dak. He just kind of sucks. Dak also needs an alpha wide receiver because CeeDee Lamb
Not it.
is
They're-
great. He's
Exactly.
great. But the problem is that when he draws coverage, he gets frustrated. Like you could saw in the game against the fucking Cardinals.
Right. I mean,
He was getting so heated. And he's just like in
Devontae
his
Adams
head.
would be perfect for the Cowboys.
Yeah.
Yeah.
'cause
The other
they
thing-
have,
In so
they
many
have
ways.
3 receivers that are mid-tier receivers. If
They
they
need
get
a
a
guy.
WR1, if they get that one guy, they actually they would be dangerous.
The other thing that's changed with Dak too is since his ankle injury, he no longer runs like he used to. He used to be much more of the like
More of a
Joe Burrow scrambler, like extend
that's-
plays, but now he just doesn't do any of that.
But that's
He
any
just-
quarterback who's had 5 years in the league and gets hit enough times. You know what I'm saying? Like there's no more Frank Tarkentons. They don't exist.
Yeah, Aaron Rodgers was the anomaly there, right? Like to be scrambling that late in his career.
He's not even scrambling. His scrambles aren't even that great.
They weren't
He's-
great. Yeah, no, he looked like an old man
He
running.
looks like a fucking old man doing it. The only
'Cause he
quarterback that
is.
can really pull it off right now is Pat Mahomes, and that's because he throws like a fucking weirdo. He just he lobs the ball out forward instead of like throwing it from the side or anything like that. He just like does these weird
the
tosses.
shovel passes.
I don't know. He makes
He's
it
got
work.
like
It's weird.
he's just got like I think Patrick Mahomes does some weird fucking like crazy back exercises because I don't understand how he generates so much power without his legs.
Sold his soul
Yeah,
to
I
the
don't know.
devil, and then
No,
Yeah.
it's like he's got some like fucking crazy 1 second punch shit. Where
There's
one
something,
punch
like, his
stuff where
core
he
must
must
be,
be
like-
doing like just like it's a speed and rotation thing. Like
It's something with his core, man, to generate that much power without his legs. Like
mhm.
there's no like your arm just doesn't have that much muscle in it.
Anyways,
Right.
what's crazy to me is that this was an all offensive like matchup besides Aiden Hutchinson. Aiden Hutchinson.
Yeah, I was about to say Aiden Hutchinson went the fuck off.
Yeah.
Like-
Obviously, on both sides of the ball, offensively, these guys are good. I don't know about the Russell Wilson pick there. That's kind of silly, but
Mhm.
CMC on Jordan's side, DeAndre Swift. I'm on Ross St. Brown, Keenan Allen. I don't know if Keenan Allen's gonna put up another 40-point game. but that was a great pick.
Probably not,
But rolling with DeForest Buckner week to week, just because he got you 31 points in the first week doesn't mean he's going to do that every week, man.
yeah.
I think both of them need to work on their defensive picks, but
Highsmith has been fantastic through 3 games, and then just fell off here. That's like standard DL
I do
play.
like the Marshawn Lattimore pickup because you still.
Yeah.
I tried getting him with Fab that same
Yep.
week you picked him up, but obviously you beat me out. But
I will say this about Russ: like, as terrible as he's been playing, like, he's still the QB9. Like,
Mhm.
that's like, he's still producing for fantasy. As terrible as he's been playing.
call me crazy. I think he gets benched this year. I don't think
I can see that happening.
I think he gets benched at some point. They're gonna have to move away from him and try something else out.
We'll see. I mean,
I
I don't know how you take the dead cap hit.
They already
and, like,
said
don't
they
tank.
already said they're releasing him at the end of the year. They're trading him. So it's one of those things where is Russell really gonna try for the team after articles like that have been put out? I don't think so. He's kind of a prima donna.
You know
I
what?
would not trust any of that with how, like, I mean, he's the first year into his extension. That's 3 years of, like, guaranteed money off of, like, what was it, like 45 plus million, like, per year for those 3 years. Like, I don't know how. I know the Waltons are billionaires.
I don't
but,
know.
like,
I don't know who's gonna pay for him. Someone will pick up Russell Wilson. So you're crazy if you think that Denver's not going to get money out of him because he doesn't fit in this organization very well, that he's not meshing with their, whatever their culture is there. Someone will snag him and they'll pay for him.
Titans.
They will.
I mean, yeah, that would be the obvious one. Like, they've gone to the well, like with Tannehill in Miami. Like,
I think the Jets, because Aaron Rodgers is done.
He's coming back. He's
coming
adamant.
back.
He's adamant that he's coming back.
He is coming back. That dude, for all of his bullshit, when he sets his mind to something, he does it for the most part.
also,
If he has
Achilles are
control
not
over
as
it.
big a deal as they were like 5 years ago. It's just there's been too many instances of like high level athletes coming back and being just as good off Achilles.
Not at his age.
That's true. I mean, that's different, but
And yeah,
It's
not
a
even
whole
We'll see
different
what
ball
happens.
game when you're that
We'll
old.
see. I mean, he could come back and just absolutely shit the bed. He could.
I mean,
he could come
he
back and
is.
get
He's
he's
injured
already
on his
shit the
sixth
bed,
play,
so
So
couldn't stay healthy to week 5. Be my backup.
So I wanted to point something out that was really crazy about this fantasy matchup. Jordan was 7-4 in all play, which means that if he'd played 7 other teams other than Ben, he would have won. And he also had a 91.2% accuracy rating in his lineup, which means that 91.2% of his picks were the right ones based on who he should have played versus his bench.
So that means
still
he really
lost.
only had one.
He still
fuck up.
lost.
I mean, Keenan
Yeah,
Allen
I mean,
went
it's
off for
the-
like 40 points. Like,
it's
it's
the
not like he
most-
didn't have guys showing up.
But the
Like,
crazy
Lucas
thing,
McCaffrey.
the crazy thing is, and I want Ben to explain himself here, is he started 2 tight ends.
Yes, thank you. I mean, for fuck's sake.
What are you doing,
Like,
Ben? Are you that down bad?
No, I mean, I did look. He's got like 4 badly
Yeah,
injured
I mean Montgomery's
starters,
out, Barkley's out,
but
Watson's out, and
no,
he hasn't
and
even moved him into IR. Does he? Was his IR full at this point too? On top of that,
it may yet be. But the thing is that if Jordan Love hadn't had the yips for the beginning of that game, that wouldn't
Yeah,
even
his
be a
IR
bad
is completely
play.
full.
Yeah, okay, yeah. Ben's
How do you
just
see-
down bad.
How do you see his
Oof.
whole team? Because I can.
If you scroll to the
You gotta
bottom with
scroll all the
the
way to the
standings,
bottom, and then
you can click on the
Piss
standings.
Boys.
and then just scroll.
Here, I'll put it on the thing.
We're gonna not to put you on too much blast here, Ben, but woof.
You down bad, my
Yeah, you got
my
1,
dude.
Yeah.
2, 3,
Oh my god!
4, 5, 6, 7, 8 players.
All right, well, there's a few players.
Not counting his taxi.
Not counting the taxi.
Yeah, but there's a couple of players you could drop from that IR that aren't really like important, in my opinion.
Mm,
James Houston. N'Kobe Dean, those guys can just be dropped from the waivers, and then you can put Barkley and Montgomery on your IR and start.
Yeah, and then you have some room to maneuver.
Some room to play. Like you don't need to keep all these defensive players that are week to week waiver guys anyways. And
I mean, shoot, I would put in Michael Gallup over Musgrave.
I mean, I think that's maybe a first instinct, but I mean,
like, I'm not playing a tight end.
Here's the thing.
Second tight end.
Yeah, I only want one tight end player.
I'd play Musgrave over Njoku.
He has 5 fucking tight ends. Like, it's
for sure.
He's got the shotgun.
He has all the tight ends.
All the tight ends. There they are. Okay, well.
Although I can understand playing Musgrave over Njoku, but like, he's a rookie. He's not Sam Laporta, so
through 3 games, he's had a pretty good snap and target share. I mean, he's
4 targets and 3 targets.
I just don't see anything in either Njoku
here.
or Musgrave's performance where either of them should be in a flex spot.
No.
No. That's fair, yeah.
So Ben, you need to explain yourself, bro.
that part.
No, clearly, it's the injury thing, but like
it's the injury thing.
It was a
like
tough
definitely
week, man.
Yeah, that's rough.
The fact that he stole this win in the week he needed, because he would have been 0-3.
Yeah, he needed it bad.
He needed that win, and he bought.
And Jordan Love's been balling out too for fantasy.
Good for you, Ben. Good for you. Just took out.
And you put down Jordan's team is fucking crazy. So that was good job, man. You did it.
Yeah, you took out number 2.
Your weird tight end play actually worked.
It doesn't matter. You got the win.
Don't get it twisted. Don't get it twisted. It wasn't because of your tight ends, though.
No, it was Raheem Mostert, Devontae Adams not being covered ever somehow, and Aiden Hutchinson having an out-of-body experience on the field, and Sam Hubbard.
This is the argument for play your studs. Always play your studs.
Start your studs.
Start
your studs for sure.
And we could just head right into my game and
well, hold on, we didn't even
to do so.
We didn't even talk about Jordan. We didn't even talk about Jordan.
Point.
Yeah, dude. This guy had some dudes go off. Like Keenan Allen, 40 points, man.
Keenan Allen was the offense. CMC is unbelievably good at football. DeAndre Swift was running. I could have got 100 yards behind that line. Like they showed
I don't know about that.
The point of view when they took the camera, the floating camera behind the line during the play, and the seas parted, and there was like you could fit like 5 DeAndre Swifts between both guards. It was like, and there was nothing, just grass on the other side.
Huge holes.
Huge, like, of course he looked good. Of course he looked good. He's fast. Don't get me wrong, but like,
it helps to be fast to get through the holes.
That Philly line is just like, unbelievable.
It's still
In my opinion, when Jalen Hurts started falling apart, DeAndre Swift had to do something. It was up to him to really get the offense moving there at the end of the game.
So they put in Kenny Gainwell at the end of the game.
That's a role he's familiar with too, because he literally was the Lions' offense for so long.
Yeah.
Because they just had nobody.
That's not necessarily true because they went away from him. Like they literally started taking touches away from him, and people were asking Dan Campbell what was going on, and he said
No, I'm talking about the pre-Dan Campbell era.
No,
Dan Campbell drafted him.
He's been there the whole time. Dan Campbell's been
there.
Holy shit.
Yeah.
DeAndre Swift's only been in the league since 2020.
Oh yeah, okay.
Yeah, this is his contract year.
There was something
because they dropped his
something was going on.
This is his big money year.
Something was going on with Swift with the Lions because I think they were concerned about him being injured because he was injured a lot, and he's probably like, knock on wood, probably gonna get hurt again. Like the way he plays is super, super physical, and he just runs into people, and he gets hurt.
That's how that.
So they took touches away from him. Like he was only getting like 13 snaps a game when he was playing on the Lions towards the end there. He was just electric when you get the ball in his hands in space. Like he's a pass catching back. Who runs like in a straight line at 22 miles an hour every single time.
Yeah, I mean that's the prototypical
He's
like back right now.
the
It's just
perfect-
like getting
Perfect fit for this line. Like
yeah.
they like
Mhm.
he just if
Mhm.
just hit the hole, and he's
Yeah.
just
Yeah.
he's gone.
Gone.
And he looks amazing every time he does it. It
Yeah,
makes
you don't
sense
even need
that
vision.
he's doing well.
Maximizing expected yard, like expected like EPA per play, whatever it is. Like whatever the expected value is, maximizing that is like kind of how running backs are being used for who's being like targeted as number ones. And like he's the perfect like option for that.
Yeah.
Like yeah.
How about
'Cause-
Rashid Shaheed, man? That dude looks really good. He on
Yeah, he does.
New
He
Orleans.
might be
He's
he
so
might be-
fast.
He could
just
be a
good.
thing.
He might actually just be a good player.
Yeah.
Like
Right
Yeah.
now, I think he's like a special
He's so
teamer,
fast.
part
Got the
time.
punt return TD, which really
He's-
made him look better than.
he's their third though.
Well, no,
He's
I'm
their
not
third
talking about
guy.
just this week, but like last week.
Last week he was balling out.
Yeah,
He's a
He
deep
had
threat
like
for them.
30
He's their
points
deep threat.
last week
Yeah.
on nearly. Like
he looked
25
better to
points.
me than Michael Thomas did. Even
He's
though Michael
better, like-
Thomas was getting fed.
Michael
Well,
Thomas is on the decline and Shaheed is coming up. Like it by this time next
Yeah.
season, their roles will have switched.
I thought that this year
Michael
would
Thomas
go
is
something
also
like
30 years old. So.
Yeah.
and has missed a few years. My idea was that like Michael Thomas would be on the decline, which he shows signs of,
Clearly is.
and like Shaheed and Olave would be the 1 and 2, and then A.T. Perry would take Michael Thomas's job because for some fucking reason this like this 4'4" dude that's 6'5" can like tries to be Zay Flowers, which like I guess if that keeps you in the league, sure, dude. But like,
Yeah, I know
why?
you believe in your players, man. I love it.
hey man, I don't know. Like he looks good. I don't know. He's just got a weird game for like
You just gotta give him
what it is.
time. It's just like with the Jameer Gibbs thing on your team. You know, now,
clear
especially-
talent.
clearly
Yep.
talented. Especially now that, dude, I'm bringing up Jameer Gibbs because David Montgomery's out now,
Mm-hmm.
Oh right, yeah.
and you're gonna see a lot more Jameer Gibbs on the field.
He's gonna
They,
get
sh-
touches.
they really
Thursday,
should.
that game's gonna be so fun. Green Bay
Yeah.
versus the Lions, man.
That'll
I
be
cannot
Oh
wait.
yeah,
Ian
Go
Lambeau,
Lions.
it's gonna be a good one.
Steve. You wait. When is that? Is that
Thursday.
Thursday.
It's Thursday
Thursday?
night football.
Steve,
Yeah, it's
you
gonna be a
should-
banger.
Steve should
Yeah.
stream that?
Yeah, I agree. We'll get Clep
Or
in the
live
call.
tilt.
Or
Yeah,
even-
dude.
We'll get a bona fide
Fucking
Detroit Lions
come over.
fan.
Yeah.
And we'll get a bona fide Green Bay
Oh,
Packers fan.
okay, yeah. I'll
Yeah, dude.
stream for that.
This
I'll stream
should
for
it would
that.
be a fun stream, man. Like for real.
All right, let's move on
Yep.
to
Yeah.
Steve's.
Now we
loss
can
to-
talk about my
to the fucking fart bowl here.
yeah this fucking my fucking running back collapse. The
Oh,
continued running
Brees
back
Hall,
collapse.
man. My lord. Ugh.
You know,
Dude.
it's weird that he did that because he's so good. But the problem
He's
is
so
that-
good.
The problem
this
is,
is-
the problem is that the Jets are falling apart because they don't
Yeah.
have a starting QB anymore. So that's their only
Exactly.
threat. So that's
And he's
who they're
coming
gonna-
off the
One
ACL.
dimensional. Yeah, exactly.
But he's also coming off the ACL, which is again like
Yeah, but he's a youngin.
and he's
I mean, but even
sharing a
still, it's
target
like-
share with Dalvin.
it was
Cook
only 9 months.
who's
He came
not
back in
doing
9 months.
shit.
Like
himself
I mean,
either, and
he
Zach
showed out
Wilson's
the first
just
game.
throwing in.
that's always what happens though. Like it's always that first burst and then they like tail off. Like
Yeah,
the same thing's happening with Calvin Ridley. Like
Well, it's
after
because
like
They didn't.
after
they
an
didn't-
extended period of time.
that who'd they play? Buffalo didn't practice for Brees Hall. They practiced for Aaron Rodgers. So now that teams
Now
are
they know it's
practicing for
Brees
Brees
Hall.
Hall, it's
Yeah.
gonna be tough.
That's
You guys, you're overlooking the fact that Brees Hall ran up against Bill Belichick. And what do
I'm
we
not
know
missing
about Bill
that.
Belichick?
Like I said, it's all about practice.
Well, Bill Belichick famously will take away your top option.
Yeah.
The
That's
only
true.
thing
It's true.
that they have is the run game and their defense. And Belichick isn't going to kill you with his offense because his offense is
booty.
is
Just
dated
Booty.
it's
as hell.
booty.
That
Yeah.
system is so bad.
It's
But
You know it's bad when Hunter Henry is your number
True.
one
but
option.
here's obviously the game plan for New England, and this is what I would do:
take away the run.
make Zach Wilson put the
Yeah.
ball in the air, And that's what they
Yeah,
did.
make him beat.
That is how you beat the Jets. That is
That's how
100% how you beat the
100%
Jets.
how you beat the Jets. Yeah, you make Zach Wilson have to do quarterback, and then
Yep.
oops.
It was the one bad decision I made was not put Kyle Duggar in my lineup because like should have known he would like show up. Like good player.
Always play your defensive players against Zach Wilson. Always.
Yeah. Always.
He's terrible.
Yeah, always. He's
Zach
so
Wilson is so bad. Some of the best content in all of sports is watching Mike Greenberg and Rich Eisen just tilt because of the Jets and how bad Zach Wilson is. It is absolutely
Why did they
awesome.
let Mike White walk? Like the players loved him. That one game where they had T-shirts with Mike White on them.
Mike White on
Dude,
it. Yeah.
I don't get it either.
Like,
That's what
and
I
then
was
they
saying.
let him walk. Like what?
It's because Robert Saleh and the Jets ownership are like, we drafted this guy number 2 or 3
sunk
overall,
cost.
and we're screwed because we know we're about to get fired.
And Joe
It's 'cause
Douglas.
they went all in, dude. They went all in with the whole trade with Aaron Rodgers, and they didn't want Aaron Rodgers' butt to get hurt if they had a good QB as a backup. So now they have no QB.
I mean,
Aaron
yeah.
Rodgers hates a good backup. He
It
hates
is
I mean, that's true. Look at Jordan Love. Like,
Yeah, that's
He's
why he
fine.
wanted out. That's why he wanted out. Was because
Yeah,
he
'cause
knew
Jordan
that
Love's-
his time
he's-
was over.
Jordan's
Jordan Love
good.
in there.
Yeah.
because Jordan's not 30-fucking-9. Like, good God.
So, speaking of the Jets, a big reason why Steve got crushed was Casey played Matt Judon, who got a safety in this game. He was credited with a safety,
Yep.
which is a shit ton of points. And he, aside from the safety, he had a monster game.
A couple sacks too.
he destroyed.
I mean, well,
he
one
did.
of
He
the
did what you
safeties
should
was
do.
the
He
sack.
Casey saw. Oh, my defensive player's playing against Mike White. I'm putting that guy in, and guess what? You shredded
I mean,
Steve.
Zach Wilson,
Or
right?
Zach Wilson. Yeah.
Or
But-
against Zach
but-
Wilson.
But look, no,
He
the other
shredded
there
Steve.
are
Mike White
other,
wouldn't have
there
done
are
that.
other
Yeah.
like big duds on my side. Like we could point a lot of this blame pretty squarely on T. Higgins.
T. Higgins had a
in
nightmare.
that
game.
absolute
Yeah.
nightmare game.
Oh, yeah, he got outscored by Tyler Boyd. That's not great.
Yeah, no, pretty bad.
And your defense across the board was mid.
It's mid, not bad.
Yeah,
mid.
you had no guys come in with like 5 pass breakups, no
My-
2 sack games or anything like that.
I
all
like
my
Steve's
burst is
offense
on my
because it's a standard. It's above, he's not having any flop like 2-point defensive players. I like it. I think
he had
your
Breece Hall.
Your defense is solid, but
My
Breece-
offense
the
failed
Jared-
me.
I mean, you went with fucking Green Bay Packers, man. I don't know what to tell you. Like
No,
every year
he
you
should have
do
played
this.
Rashawn Gary, man.
I should have
Every
played.
year you
Honestly,
do
that's
this.
exactly it. If I had actually played the Packer, which is
Steve,
nearly
I don't know-
30 points on my bench, I don't know what the
That's
fuck
the
I
most
was doing.
Steve move
Steve-
ever to play
yeah,
a
that-
lot of
like-
Packers but not play the
Yeah,
right ones.
the right
Yeah.
right one. Yeah,
Like-
exactly. It's,
Not only the right ones, but the best Packer that he has on his roster, he didn't play.
yeah.
That's
Like,
only
he-
because you got
But like,
lucky
what's my
enough
move
for
here?
Bijan.
Am I gonna move Will Anderson or fucking Micah Parsons? No, probably not. Am I gonna?
No.
think-
Yes, you should.
like,
Yes, no, you
typically-
should. You should IDP Will Anderson, and have Rashawn Gary. Like, yeah,
But I got Quay Walker, who's usually good for 10 to 20 points a game.
The move here is to not pick up 5 fucking Green Bay Packers that all do the same job and hope
That's
that one
that's
does
also-
good. Like
that is-
Yeah,
That is
I mean,
Steve's
that's
strategy
my wide
usually.
receiver
Yeah.
problem.
That's
I
your
mean-
fantasy strategy, Steve. What do you mean?
I mean, get coverage and for fan reasons. That has been my strategy for a long, long time.
dude, I can't do the fan thing, man.
You pick
Don't do
one player as a fan. Like I picked DK Metcalf because I love watching me on the field. You know what I'm saying? Like,
Yeah.
but I'm
here's the deal.
not gonna pick fucking Geno Smith and every single other Tyler Lockett and every single Seahawk I can because I know that my team won't do good.
I'm just trying to minimize the number of games I have to watch.
That's a terrible strategy.
that is a
Yeah,
horrible
it's awful.
strategy.
That's a horrible strategy.
This is why Red Zone was invented. Okay.
Yeah, dude.
Hate that.
And you got lucky. Bijan Robinson didn't pop off with another 30-point game.
I was gonna
No,
say
I
Casey's
know.
team wasn't even
Casey's team
spectacular here.
didn't-
He Tyreek killed you, he Debo'd
Yeah.
you, and he Matt Judon'd you. But Justin Fields was terrible and
I mean,
is
really,
probably
Devon Hargrave had
droppable.
a pretty good game.
This is like a double flop. I mean,
Josh
Ingram had
Reynolds,
a good
Josh
game.
Reynolds
with
gave
the
Casey a
goose egg.
donut. Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, yeah, it
like,
was the Tank Bowl. Who can do the worst? Like, really, in this
I
situation.
mean, this was a good golf game.
Casey's gonna go. Yeah, it's true. Casey's gonna go off for like 280 points next week, though. Like it's
Very
it's
well.
how this works.
Very well
It's
could.
it's bound to happen. I mean,
Yeah.
yeah, I don't like Justin Fields. I don't think he's great, but he's bound to have a 30-point game.
He's playing Denver this week at home, so if he doesn't,
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
it's over.
I mean,
Yeah.
it's already over for Chicago. Like they've got like 3 first-round picks or something. Like maybe 2 this year. Then like
They've got a
2
lot.
next year. They're tanking. Like if you want to know who's tanking in the NFL, it's the teams with 2 first-round picks.
I mean, yeah, generally. Woof.
Yeah, we don't have to harp on Steve anymore. That's enough. That's enough Steve shredding for the night.
Yeah.
We did the thing.
We shredded.
All right,
enough.
Targus.
And now it's time to Targ.
All right, it's the last matchup. Is me and Matt. I was actually sweating this at the end of the week because Matt was creeping up on me, but he just couldn't hold it down. K9 saved my ass.
Yeah, he did.
Dude, he had a game. That
K9,
dude had a game.
I don't understand the preseason. Like, oh my God, we drafted Zach Charbonnet. Kenneth Walker is gonna do nothing. It's gonna be a weird committee, and it's like
Weird
we run the
overreactions.
ball all the time. We need multiple running backs.
Well, it's also the other people don't watch tape, and
No.
because people thought Charbonnet was gonna like take his job, and if you watch the Charbonnet tape versus the Ken Walker tape, it's like, oh, there's one guy who's clearly better than the other, and it's not Charbonnet. It's clearly not.
The thing about Charbonnet though is that it's like at best we get the Alvin Kamara, Mark Ingram dynamic in the Seahawks offense, which is totally a possibility here.
Yeah, and like
Thunder and Lightning,
overall,
man. It's like Pete's doing that kind of early 2000s football style where you have like the really shifty running back in Kenneth Walker, and then the guy that will literally truck people. Like I don't know if you saw the highlight
Yeah,
from
that was a big hit.
that was a
Charbonnet
fun hit,
on the
man.
2-yard
That was fun.
line. He
Killed
knocked
that DB, dude. He just killed it.
Literally
Like,
just,
sent that man
like,
into
that
the afterlife.
paper dolled him across the end zone, like 8 feet back. Couldn't even the cameraman who was up close couldn't even keep him in frame. He just trucked
That
him.
shit was amazing.
I mean, he flew back like he was in a martial arts movie.
He really
like-
did.
That being said, I don't really think and then we have Kenny McIntosh, who we drafted as well, who they were really excited about, who, in my opinion, looks better than Charbonnet as a runner. Charbonnet might be more physical, but like Kenny
was up in the air.
McIntosh will be
It
the
was
guy
up in the
that
air
can.
during the draft process for a lot of like the like all-star circuit guys, like the guy like Jim Nagy, the guy who runs like the Senior Bowl, like those kind of people. That who was better, Charbonnet or McIntosh?
Yeah.
The fact that McIntosh went in the 7th is like
nearly
kinda weird.
nearly went undrafted. Like
yeah, it's kind of weird how much because of how
and
how
Kenny
much like, speculation
McIntosh
there was between those two.
Kenny McIntosh is hurt right now, but in preseason or not even preseason, like the training camp footage that they released, he looked insane.
He looks like the best patch sketching back that we have.
Yeah,
It's
like
not really-
better. He looked better than K9 as a pass catcher.
And K9 had an amazing catch this game.
Yeah, that's the
It
thing.
was like 20 yards down the field, high pointing.
It was more than that.
It was a legit good catch.
It was more than that. The one on the sideline where he ran to the sideline and then caught the like 29-yard pass from Gino
Yeah.
like in the 4th.
Yeah,
I was
that
like,
a good
oh my!
pass.
I was like, he's emerging as a like like a legit receiving option. You kind of saw it a little bit last season, but this
It's not
season
enough, yeah.
it's really exciting to see them utilizing him as a receiving option because like JSN isn't doing anything, which is shocking. Like
Yeah, I think that's
borderline
a Gino.
malpractice. I
Yeah,
don't.
it's a Gino thing. He's not like the show. Like
He doesn't go through
there's
his.
a level
He
of-
doesn't go
There's
through
a level
his
of
reads.
trust that needs to be there.
Well, no,
and it's clearly not there.
Here's the thing with Gino, okay? We're so used to Russell Wilson, who's really good in the option, in the read, and because he's so short, he like has to know all these different things. Whereas with Gino, Gino's he's a very fixed player. So rather than him looking at 1, 2, 3, and 4 and picking, he scans left to right 1, 2, 3, 4, and then he scrambles, and then he has to have. And DK laid this out in an interview this week, and he said that if DK doesn't hit his routes specifically to how Gino needs it, he won't get the ball. So
I
Gino
could see
has
that.
to has to have specific routes, and I think it's just because Gino is a good quarterback, but he's not great. He's not that extra talent like phenom that everybody thought he was, years ago on the Jets. He's very, very much so just a bus driver.
Yeah.
And that's
He's a
why
game
He's the
we're
manager.
perfect. He's the perfect like Shanahan like quarterback.
like
If Gino was on the Niners, like we would all be picking the Niners without any sort of question.
Because
that's
look what,
why
it's like
our
Brock Purdy.
receivers don't get
Yeah.
the ball
Yeah.
because
Yeah.
we're really easy to pick apart. Because if they're just running routes and they're just hitting them at the end of the route, then as long as there's a defender in that area at the end of the route, then they're not going to get thrown to. So we have to run the ball.
Which is why JSN isn't getting it, because when he scrambles, he's already created this separation pre-scramble.
Well, that's the thing is that
Like if it
his
goes too
ADOT
far, then you lose that.
Jason's ADOT is super low. Like he's seeing targets like only a couple yards after past the line of scrimmage. Like his thing is running complex routes and getting separation from people.
Yeah, but we saw this when we saw this in DK's like rookie year. Like they just had him run go balls for the first 6 games.
They're
That
not.
was the
That's
only
what they
thing he
should do
did.
with JSN
And-
though. But they have Tyler Lockett doing that, which makes sense.
Well, it's like
Well,
they should not just do like shallow crossers. Is kind of the other thing. Is like they should choose a different route.
I think the point
the
is,
him to run.
the most frustrating thing is you'll see half of our receivers get wide open while Gino is scrambling, but then Gino gets so flustered that he can't find them and
Right.
dumps it off to a
Can't
tight
deliver.
end
Yeah.
that's in double coverage.
yeah,
And it's so disgusting to watch because that shouldn't, like, if you're an elite quarterback, you should be able to see those 3
Keep the
fucking
vision down the
receivers.
field.
You should
that
see
are
the open guy.
Yeah.
And it's different when it's an out of 13, because like when they run 13 right now, it's essentially just like Jake Bobo just
Yeah.
fucking like blocking.
Yeah.
But like
Jake Bobo is gonna turn out to be a really good receiver, dude.
he.
I don't think it'd be
good.
fantasy relevant, but like for real life football, he's
Gonna be good. Yeah.
You see him
He's gonna
throw.
be
player.
a good. He's
He was
gonna be a
laying
good
out block
Lazard.
after block out there. Whenever he was out
Yeah.
there, he was like really good in
Exactly.
pass protection.
He's
I was
a
impressed.
really good blocker. Really good. I mean, it helps that he's like 200 plus.
It also helps that the
Massive.
announcers told me
Yeah.
about 3 or 4 times that he's like an expert in rocket surgery or whatever. It's like they kept bringing up the fact that he's like had a really hard major and ran like a 4.9 at the combine or whatever, and it's like, shut up, he's a pro.
Dude,
Yeah,
that's
get
really
it.
Yeah.
fast. That's really fast for a white dude. Let's be real.
Dude, still the best comment Travis Kelsey has ever made was he was looking at the draft stuff, and like there was a white DB, and he was like did a double take. It was like, wait, they allow us to do that?
I think it was Riley Moss too.
Is that the white dude?
Yeah, he's on.
You just never see
The
white
one that got
DBs,
drafted this year.
They're not fast
Yeah.
enough.
Generally, yeah.
He came out of Iowa. That's the only reason I know that.
Yeah.
So on the dud side here, because I had Justin Jefferson, who is Justin Jefferson, generational talent, is the centerpiece of my team. Dax Hill, who someone dropped him and I picked him up from the wire, and I was really happy to get him. He balled out, got a sack.
Wait, somebody dropped Dax Hill? Really?
Yeah.
Yeah, he was on
Ugh.
the wire
Like
for a
I'm just
while.
picking up. I'm
Matt
picking
did.
up.
the guy he played.
Yeah. I'm just
Matt
picking up
keeps
these.
dropping him good ass players. He's
Just
done
keep-
that
It's
2
Matt,
weeks in a
yeah.
row
I'm
now.
picking up the pieces that you guys keep dropping from your teams. It's like, oh, they're 3 points. I don't want him. Like, I'll take him. You know. Yeah, Danielle Hunter,
Like,
and then
Matt dropped Danielle Hunter too. I
Yeah.
think
I tried to pick up
Who,
Christian
I-
Gonzalez.
that
but
bite
he
him in
got
the
it from
ass.
me.
I think Matt's colluding, bro. with Scott and Peter.
yeah, Danielle Hunter had a game again. He's got like
He's
6
colluding
sacks
with
on the
whoever
season.
decides to spend the most fab.
No, because he's gotten that's like isn't it? It's 2 players that he's gotten from Matt back-to-back weeks that have dropped.
No, not
over
back to back.
15.
I
This
got
is all pre.
Danielle Hunter after the draft, and then Dax
Yeah.
Hill was dropped like during cutdowns before week 1, or after week 1.
Dax Hill was on the waiver wire for like a week and a half.
Yeah. I was just
Like,
looking through, and I was
looking
like,
at it there.
I was like, wait, why is he here? I picked him up.
I was looking at that, just being like,
I didn't
I mean, I did the same thing with Tyson Campbell.
But then
I mean,
again, this comes down to I don't
Yeah.
see DBs because I don't understand DBs.
see, this is why I have 9 DBs because, like, yeah, no,
they're hard.
I've got a higher hit rate on them than linemen.
Well, you also have like 2 of like the youngest, best DBs in the game currently, so you know.
Wait, who?
I mean,
You
Oh,
have Devin Witherspoon and Brian Branch over here. It's like, oh, I'm fine. Like, yes, we know.
yeah.
Yes, I am. Because I also have Trent McDuffie, who is currently not that PFF grades actually like mean really that much, but he's the highest
Yeah.
graded DB in PFF's grading system.
Yeah.
Yeah, I had Brian Robinson did nothing because the Commanders were shocking against Buffalo, which is expected. They're an insanely good team still, despite the struggles to start the season. Drake London and Kyle Pitts did nothing because Desmond Ridder is hot garbage. He threw like 38 times in that game.
Dude, I was so worried the Seahawks were going to pick him up in the second round last year.
Did nothing. Desmond Ridder?
Yeah.
Oh yeah,
I totally thought in the second round we'd pick him up. I was
he's
like,
not
thank
it.
God we didn't.
Like, I am
Yeah.
patiently waiting for who's their backup?
Taylor Heineke.
Taylor Heineke, who actually balled out.
Oh no,
for them.
Jacoby Brissett. No,
No,
that's
it's
wrong.
Taylor Heineke is their top backup. You're right. I'm waiting for them to come out. Kyle Pitts is also hurt, so like he tore his MCL last season, like in the middle of the season. He had it reconstructed, and you can tell just watching him that he's laboring. Like he's not fully healthy.
He'll be back next year.
Yeah.
But not that means much. Because,
Tight end
Arthur
is
Smith
tight end is just a mess. So I'll
It's a
play
wasteland.
a warm body at that position every week. But Drake London, I'm worried about. Dre Greenlaw also did nothing. Frankie Louvu, I played him against Seahawks because I was expecting us to get drubbed by them like they did last year. I just have bad memories of them just running the ball and just absolutely suffocating us. I think they won like 30-13 last year.
Because
ran all
Chuba
over
Hubbard
us.
decided that he
Chuba
was
Hubbard.
fucking like prime fucking
He had a career
Yeah.
game against us.
Barry Sanders or something.
So I was expecting their defense to be on the field all day, and for the most part, they were. That game was a defensive mess from the Seahawks, but he ended up getting injured. He had a hip injury, and Derwin James tweaked his hamstring. So I'm chewing through my DB depth here.
That's
Matt,
happening to a lot of folks.
it's true, especially Ben.
Rip to Trayvon Diggs.
Yeah, rip to Trayvon Diggs.
Matt had some good picks with Jerome Ford and Alexander Madison.
He played the
even though
Bosa
Madison-
brothers too.
Yeah, he's got double Boses.
He double
Double
boasted
Bosa's-
me, and it was
Double
tilting me
Bosa's
because
is
like
really funny.
the sack that Nick got on the Thursday game was if you watch the replay, he has crazy eyes, man. He's just like literally like insano mode. And then they just decided not to block him. It's like, okay.
Yeah, block him.
He's standing there.
You know the depoy? Yeah, don't block him. It's cool.
Yeah, don't block him. He's fine. And yeah, he just absolutely destroyed him. It was so funny. Yeah, I mean, Matt played some defensive juggernauts here. He almost bashed me over the head with it. Yeah,
Nate
Jesse
Hobbs.
Jesse Bates is like a really really good DB too.
Oh, Jesse
Jesse
Bates
Bates
is
had a
like-
game.
It's like he's one of those perennial All-Pro safeties for sure.
Mm-hmm.
He kind of got screwed because I don't know if you saw what happened with Rashad White, but oh my god, dude, he got absolutely demolished from behind by Jalen Carter. And
His line did him no favors.
Oh wait, is that the one with the forced fumble that he punched out?
yeah, dude, Jalen
Dude, that's a
just
fucking
absolutely-
play, dude.
I wanted to
Jalen
bring
Jalen
that
Carter's
up.
a
Rashad.
monster, man.
I wanted to bring that up. So Jalen Carter got doubled, And then Rashad White was running behind him, and he just turns around and just pulls the ball out of his hands. It was like, are you fucking kidding me?
The way that Jalen Carter can flip his hips is not right.
clip of it?
That is absolutely
So
not supposed to
I
happen.
don't have that prepared, but go look it up. It was disgusting.
So
I mean,
athletic.
that kind of movement, those kind of movement abilities is why he should have gone number 1.
Yeah.
300-pound man moving like that is insane.
Yeah,
Yeah.
no, we haven't seen a tackle prospect.
Plus, he
Just
has
Warren
Fletcher.
Sapp, maybe.
He has Fletcher Cox right next to him, right? Who's a force of his
He's
own.
yeah.
So it is so.
who I will
scary.
always be salty with because we traded the pick that became Fletcher Cox when we traded down for Bruce Irvin. Which, yeah, don't trade down. It's not a good idea. I don't care what
I
anybody
think
says.
the Seahawks have learned. They're starting to do the BPA thing, which is what you should be doing. I think, in my opinion, like armchair GM, but like BPA, even in fantasy too, like BPA.
Yeah. Well, it's like, would you rather have Fletcher Cox or Bruce Irvin? It's like not a hard choice.
Yeah. Matt's other players here, just his offense really let him down here. Like
Jerome Ford
CeeDee Lamb,
is like,
Jerome Ford showed out.
yeah.
Alexander Madison had 2 fumbles, but it won't show on the score sheet because they ruled it forward progress stopped or on both of them or something. So he should have had a nightmare game, but he didn't.
Okay.
I was just sitting there, I was just watching him fumble and fumble and fumble, and I was like, "What?"
Lucky.
And Sam Laporta is the new Travis Kelsey, I guess.
Yeah.
Like, that's
Sam
just the thing
Laporta
now.
is real. That kid's gonna be good for a long time.
Yeah.
He also has Jared check down Goff, so you know.
Yeah, right. Exactly. The absolute
But
perfect quarterback.
Laporta's running go routes, which is like crazy.
I mean, that's like that was
For
the whole
a
thing at the
rookie
combine.
tight
Is
end.
he was just like he ran like a 4. He like it was like a 4.5, 4.6 as like a what is he like 250? Like
Yeah,
yeah,
he's a big guy.
245.
245,
He's small
yeah.
for a tight end, but he's a big guy.
I mean, yeah,
Not
it's still
small.
big.
That's what 240 is what you want, really.
Yeah, like that's bigger than linebackers coming out now. Like,
mm-hmm.
yeah, like
Yeah,
that. He's a big dude.
He's a
Like,
big guy.
He's fat. He is. He like killed the combine. It was like really impressive. That's why he went so high.
I'm surprised he fell to me in the PSYOP league.
The PSYOP League, man, I hate that place. It's the worst.
The wildest.
So that's pretty much all the matchups. There was a couple things I wanted to talk about. The Giants and San Francisco game was almost unwatchable. I don't know if you guys
it was
watched
the
that
worst.
one, but like,
Yeah, I turned it off.
I was sitting there and it was just like every single time that Brock Purdy would drop back to pass, he would be sitting there in that perfectly sealed pocket just for him. It's like the Brock Purdy isolation chamber. And he throws the ball, and it's like it's like a duck, and then it just like boink drops on the ground, and then the flags come out. It was like every single time this would happen. And then on the other side of the ball,
gotta protect the white guy quarterback, man.
and then on the other side of the ball, it was a similar situation, but it was just because San Francisco was playing way too hard. There were 19 penalties total in the game, 6 offsetting, 1 declined, and there were 6 per team that stuck.
Yeah, no.
And Trent Williams punched a Giants player and didn't get flagged or ejected. In between all those penalties.
Yeah, that was a mess.
Like,
yeah, what's up with like
the officiating sucks this year. It's horrible. On top of that, Amari Cooper blunder with the like literally a ref stole Amari Cooper's 40-yard touchdown from him. Like,
still won. So
we need accountability. Because, like, the problem is the NFL takes these good officiators and then gives them cushy desk jobs in the media. Like, Gene Steratore was a good...
That's not the NFL choosing to do that. Those officials are not paid enough.
That's the issue, though, is that they get the good offer, the media deal, which is, like, really good, and then they can actually have a brand and...
Yeah,
they actually make money.
They actually can make
the officials.
Money. Yeah. I know,
help them out.
It's ridiculous.
Keep the good ones.
They're not full time, are they? The NFL officials are still not full time.
No.
Yeah, which is crazy. Like
I don't think they are.
the NBA has full-time refs, and it doesn't solve everything, but it's better than having part-time refs.
If
No kidding.
Well, the NBA has fully admitted that those refs fix the game. Like, there's been players that come out and have said that if they don't win by 15, you're losing by 1.
Yeah, that was the Frank Doherty thing. That was in the 90s. That was like Kobe era when like
that was a big problem for the NBA for sure.
Yeah, they actively cleaned that up because of like federal investigations. Like there was federal involvement.
In the Seahawks Carolina game, they're calling, like, they tried to handing the game to the Carolina Panthers on a silver fucking platter. We had to go up by 2 touchdowns for them to stop doing it.
Yeah, the penalties in that game were egregious too. It's
like was fucking insane.
It's like what Steve was complaining about, like let him play, like the Devon Witherspoon penalty. Like all the ticky-tack bullshit. And that's what I felt about the Giants San Francisco game. It was just like they would play the replay and it was like on a holding call and it's like that's a hold. Like they do that every play. Okay. Like, I guess we're just stopping the game and rolling some commercials. Like, did they not get their commercial quota in the previous TNF? Or what?
I think Prime is especially bad. I think that we're going to start seeing more and more of that on the Thursday games
Colts,
and the Monday games.
The Colts-Broncos game last year was the worst football game I've ever watched, and that was a TNF game. Yeah. Remember that?
I think Thursday night games are like...
I didn't watch any Broncos games after the first one.
I mean, like... I know we're hoping for a real tilter of a matchup this Thursday with the Packers and the Lions.
Oh no, that one's going to be good.
These are slop fest games.
I saw DJ Chark push off on every single one of his catches, and not a single one was called. We got called on PI when he pushed off on our player, but it was our fault he pushed off.
Yeah, no, it's really fucking annoying. Like
it made no sense at all. The
not
officiating
only
in the
that,
NFL
but it cost me a pass defense too. I lost 6 points because of that stupid ass call.
It looks like the WWE. It looks so fake. Like they really need to figure it out where they need to just either let them play or call everybody for everything and make the games 10 hours long.
Right.
You know, it's at that point now where it's like pick one. Like quit hawing around and then doing ticky-tacky bullshit to make up for it later down the road when you've already given them 40 fucking yards and they're in field goal territory. Like
is this one of those things where like where at the beginning of the season refs are super gung-ho and by like the halfway point most of it goes away? Or is it just like
it's partially
I've never actually seen anything about that.
It's partially that, and it's partially the fact that DK Metcalf pissed off every single official in week 1.
Yeah.
Because he threatened an official by saying he's going to quit.
Right, yeah.
By saying he's going to
But Deshaun Watson can literally shove a referee and he doesn't get any. I think he actually did get fined. He did get fined, but like he should.
Oh my god, the guy who got a $250 million contract guaranteed.
Yeah, a couple $1,000 fine.
He shouldn't have played this week.
Not a fuck.
He shouldn't have played this week.
Yeah, it should have been a.
Not only did he endanger the player that he grabbed the face mask and ripped his helmet, he pushed an official. And that should have been it. He should have been ejected.
He should have been ejected for the pushing the official. Yeah.
Yeah.
He should have been ejected and suspended 1 game.
And then in this San Francisco game, God forbid, a Kyle Shanahan Golden Boy player, Trent Williams, gets thrown out of a game for punching a player. They don't even call it.
Yeah,
like
there's no consistency.
There's no consistency at all, man.
It's like you have to prepare for an officiating crew at this point.
Yeah,
right.
Yeah, that's a problem. That is a serious problem. Is like you can't have a third team on the field, which is like always a complaint of every fan base, but it's like actually a thing. Yes, you can.
And you can look at that. You can see it both ways from whatever perspective you're sitting in. But I try to sit in a neutral perspective every single time I'm watching these refs, and it always seems to be it's either the underdog team or the team that's hated the most gets the most flags thrown at them every single time, and it makes no sense whatsoever. Or they globally protect these, like people like Tom Brady when he was in the league. If you sneezed on Tom Brady, you got a flag thrown at you. So I don't know what they need to do, but they need to do something. Because when they did that whole officiating crew rework back in, what was it, 2019 or 2020, it didn't do the job. It didn't do the trick.
Yeah, I don't know how much is actually can be done about any of that. Just because
because
it's one of those things. It's the TV product issue where it's like if you let a team just get completely destroyed in the first like half, you're going to start to lose viewers, and the NFL is like a business, and they're always going to want.
I understand they're in the business of entertainment. They're in the business of entertainment. You're correct, but at what cost to the competitiveness of the game?
I mean, ask Jerry Jones about that. Like, man.
Okay. So
I mean, I understand. You ever watch a Green Bay fucking home game? They're wearing green stripes on that field. They really are.
It was worse when Rodgers was there, man.
Yeah, of course. They wanted to protect the green Jesus.
He even got the hair.
Because they thought that he would be the next Favre without the Favre problems at the end, but look, he turned into Favre 2.0.
A thing literally nobody wanted.
Yeah, I mean, really.
At least he didn't go to Minnesota, right? Or
Got it.
Yeah. Yeah. At least he didn't go to Minnesota. Yeah.
I don't think he will. They have Kirk Cousins, and everybody keeps saying Kirk Cousins is going out the door, but he has
he's playing well.
He has
they're 0-3, but he's playing well.
He also has a no trade clause, which no one likes to remember.
Yeah, it's true.
I don't think he's going anywhere.
He's not. I don't understand why people like the media keeps harping on the fact this is Kirk Cousins' last. No, it's not. It's not his last fucking year.
He felt burned.
No,
by,
but he's gonna need a new contract after this year.
Yeah.
So
it depends on how. Like he might be gone if their draft pick is high enough.
A Viking.
Like if their draft pick is high enough, he'll be gone. But that's about it.
They did draft a guy who they have sitting this year to be heir apparent in.
Dude, they're not putting. Jaron Hall is not.
Jaron Hall.
He's a backup.
Jaron Hall is not like, dude. That guy's not taking Kirk Cousins' job. Probably. That's not happening.
Backup.
Yeah. I mean, granted, Jaron Hall is better than Zach Wilson because as a BYU quarterback, he was better than Zach Wilson at BYU. But that doesn't make him like better than Kirk Cousins.
Dude, Nathan Peterman is better than Zach Wilson.
Yeah, no, Zach Wilson's a low bar to clear. But actually,
five picks and a half. Nathan Peterman is better than Zach Wilson.
The referee who's going to be commanding the team for Thursday did the Commanders, Cardinals, Titans, Chargers, and Chiefs, Bears.
I did not pay close attention to the officiating in any of those games.
Yeah.
Well, I will tell you this: that it did not matter in the Chiefs Bears one.
It did not.
it did not matter in the Chiefs Bears.
There was more Taylor Swift stupidity than there was actual game.
Yeah.
Hey, whoa! Be happy for your boy Travis Kelsey.
I'm happy for Travis Kelsey.
He got the hoe of the century, man.
Already over it.
He got the hoe of the century.
The Commanders Cardinals game was there were a lot of penalty yards.
He's making money off of that. Like, did you see the thing where his jersey sales are up 400%?
There's gonna be a whole album written about him here pretty soon. Okay.
Yeah, it's gonna have all these weird football references that like half of their fans are not gonna understand.
Yeah, did you guys see the Shane?
That's gonna be fun, actually.
Did you guys see the Shane Steichen John Harbaugh chess match of the century? Okay, so
the Colts.
Yeah, so the Ravens send a third down blitz, and the Colts couldn't punch it in. It was on fourth down now after they failed to convert. Right, so the Colts sub in. So they bring out their field goal unit, and they sub in their offense with 17 seconds left on the play clock, which John Harbaugh was like, what the hell? So he was forced to call a timeout because he was like, are you serious right now? You're subbing out your entire line right now?
With 17 seconds.
You're going for it? You got 17 seconds? You're going for it, buddy? He's like, all right, fine. So he calls a timeout. After the timeout,
field growth
Indy
comes back on.
The Colts do it again. So they bring out their field goal unit, and then they start subbing in their offense. And so he's like, "All right, you know what? I'm gonna make a substitution because you have to give the other team a time to substitute a player in, right? So he has his defensive end slowly jog to the field and forces a delay of game against the Colts because they need to give him time. And then they ended up kicking it. Anyway, I just thought that was hilarious. That whole sequence, they were just like bringing on the field goal unit and then taking them off, putting the offense on, and then shifting them back and forth, and then making John Harbaugh burn a timeout. It was just so funny.
This is what happens. This is what happens when like you have a head coach that's come from not a defensive or offensive coordinator job, but a special teams coordinator.
It was epic.
Oh yeah.
And it was funny. It was funny to me also because it was the Colts, and the Colts are the offenders of having the worst play in NFL history. Which, if you don't know, look it up, and you'll know what I'm talking about. It's the one where they shifted their entire line, and then they snapped the ball to one guy, and they just sacked.
Yeah, that one, right? Yeah.
So their entire offense was here. And the center, and the quarterback are right here, and I don't know. That shit was so funny. I also had insane. This was one of those things where it's just kind of it's not a big play or anything. I just thought the technique from DPJ on this route was elite. DPJ isn't anything special, all things considered. But watch him flash hands here.
They've been able to control the game through their short, quick passing game.
Jerome Ford split out top of your picture. Watson throwing far side. It's caught. Peoples-Jones back shoulder catch. Just an exquisite pass from Watson.
Deshaun Watson is known for. If you notice, Spiro.
Jerome Ford split out top of your picture.
Speed. That's so fast.
Throwing far side. It's caught. Peoples-Jones.
We're spoiled by Tyler Lockett being able to do
on
that.
it.
Man.
He didn't give that corner a shot at that. He just turns around at the last possible second and just snakes that.
Yeah, I mean that's the power of that design play, right?
I mean, it's that, and if the Browns actually get good play from Deshaun Watson, they're like a real team, like an actual football team.
It's true. It's true.
Well, boys, my lights have gone out, which means we got to end this fucking podcast.
Yeah, this one's gonna be a long one. Gonna have to cut it down quite a bit, I think. But
we did not do a good job on time management this time.
Nope.
No, we did not.
We bad.
We always do this. We just
started talking ball.
We started talking ball, and then it's 3 hours later.
Yeah. Whoops.
We'll get better at this as we go on, I'm sure. But it was fun.
Yeah.
That was a good one.
Well, as always, defense wins championships.
And
Steve
fuck you all.
Especially this week. Holy shit.
Yeah, Jesus Christ.
Woof.